A new season befalls us in the world of e-NASCAR competition as the best of the best will reach for absolute glory leading up to the virtual and real world Great American Race. Who has what it takes to claim victory, and can anyone sweep the night as GridVision presents the Ryco Performance Monday Night Top Split, presented by Ryco Performance. Good evening, everyone. I am Taylor Burris. Alongside me in the booth is Nick Stein. Austin Estrom will join us a little later on, and our producer is the great Austin Derbyshire. Nick, we are at the World Center of Racing Daytona International Speedway in Daytona Beach, Florida, a track that's going to provide a lot of great action all throughout this week in NASCAR Speed Weeks.
Oh yeah, for sure, man. There is a lot of great talent in this race as well, filled with a ton of pro drivers. Tonight is going to be a fun race, and I cannot wait. We are back, baby. It is the swing of the NASCAR season. Let's get into it.
Yeah, absolutely, and we have ourselves a really stellar lineup of drivers coming out here tonight. Of course, this is the top split for the NASCAR iRacing A Open Series, so these drivers are getting themselves ready to go. Some of them competing in tomorrow night with the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series, and then, of course, a lot of drivers getting ready, of course, for the big show later on, starting on Wednesday night, where iRacing will host the official Daytona 500 later on for the start of the season. As we take a look, we're going to take a quick moment, and Nick, walk us through some of the keys to victory here tonight at Daytona.
Oh man, it's going to be surviving the big one. These guys are some of the best on iRacing, but knowing that they are the best does not mean that they're going to be able to avoid the wrecks. And it's a big thing when it comes to play tracks like this. You got to survive the big one. And of course, find a dancing partner early. Drafting is of utmost importance here tonight. Sorry about that, I'm stumbling over my words here, but like I said, gotta find a drafting partner early, gotta find a partner that'll work with you throughout the race, and if you can find that, you should be pretty good. And of course, yeah, staying alive, that's all you gotta do, is just survive, is basically the biggest one here.
Yeah, absolutely. We're looking forward to seeing here. Qualifying is just wrapped up here. So for that, let us go ahead and give you your starting lineup for today's racing action here at the World Center of Racing. And we have a great lineup of drivers coming in tonight. Starting, of course, on the pole position. He's the driver of the number 26 machine. That is Chris Wilhite, who will start on the pole, followed by eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series driver Garrett Maines in second place. Third place will be Dylan Alt. Donovan Strauss will be in fourth position. Fifth place will go to the driver of Dylan Duval. Caden Honeycutt will start in sixth position, while eNASCAR Series champion Casey Kerwin will start in seventh. Eighth position will be Bobby Zielinski. Ninth place will be Parker White. And Tucker Minter rounds out your top 10, Nick.
Starting in 11th tonight is going to be the 6-car Wyatt Tidsley with Colin Keister to his outside. Zach Novak going to be bringing up the 13th spot with Jordy Lopez in 14th. Nicholas Vroman in 15th with Michael Guest in 16th. Garrett Lowe is going to be starting 17th tonight with Steven Wilson in 18th. Matt Busa in 19th, and rounding out your top 20, Malik Ray.
21st will be Daniel Falkingham, followed by Joseph in the 22nd position. Taylor Hurst will be starting in the 23rd position, followed by Keegan Leahy in 24th. Blaze Crawford and Michael Frisch will be in 25th and 26th. Max Brady will be starting in 27th. Jacob Schneider, Tyler Gary, and Matthew Zwack rounding out your 30-car field here today. And already, just looking at the field of drivers racing in here, Nick, we have at least right at half the field of the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series drivers competing in this top split event.
Oh yeah, like I said earlier, there is a ton of talent in this race. There is a ton of pro drivers and a lot of people that you're gonna see in that eNASCAR series, as you mentioned. So this race is stacked with talent, and I'm expecting one of the better races we're gonna see this week, especially right here.
How about Chris Wilhite, of course, our partner of Ryco Performance, part of the Ryco Performance Monday night and Friday night top split events on the pole here. So we have to give a big shout out to the amazing partner of Ryco Performance. Make sure to visit Ryco Performance for more information and how to get some of the best top-of-the-line setups for your iRacing needs. As the field now following behind Benny the pace car driver, as the field will climb the 31 degrees of banking to get set, and already you see some of the paint schemes that we will be seeing racing tomorrow night in the season opener of the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series.
Yeah, as I said, there is a lot of talent here, so this is going to be such a fun race to watch. And how about we start getting some picks in? What do you think, Taylor? Who do you think who do you think's got this tonight?
Well, you know what? I will go ahead and make my pick, and I have to go with a fan favorite and a one who I've watched a lot. I have to go with the number 2 machine. He is the defender NASCAR iRacing Series champion, that number 12 of Garrett Main, starting on the front row.
Well, over here, I think I'm going to have to go with your reigning eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series champion and Casey Kerwin. He's starting in 7th position tonight, so he's in a really, really good spot here, and I think he will have a pretty good chance at this.
Not your reigning, but he is a former champion, so we'll have to keep an eye on him. And, of course, I believe our producer, Austin Derbyshire, has a pick as well to keep an eye on. We'll wait on his pick as the field, as Garrett Lowe will be his pick. Starting in 17th position in that number 89 Mahal machine, of course, part of the brand new BS competition machine that will be racing in eNASCAR competition in 2024. Field now coming out of turn 4. We're happy to have you with us here. Make sure to like, subscribe, and keep up to date with all of GridVision's action that we'll have as we kick off the 2024 NASCAR and eNASCAR seasons, as Benny, the pace car driver, will make the hard left turn out of turn 4 and head down pit lane, as Barney the flagman, the hardest working man at all iRacing, will have the green flag in hand. Here they come into the start zone as we get set. Green flag is out. We're racing here at Daytona. Field already working their way up into speed here. Drivers jockeying for position. Of course, up at the front of the field, 2 of the new noses and body designs for the NASCAR series with the brand new Ford Mustang Dark Horse Edition. Leading the charge, and already we're seeing 3 wide a little further back. How about Bobby Zielinski gonna take it up the middle as they head down the Daytona Superstretch for the first time. 3 wide as they work their way through. It is Garrett Mains on the top side, Zielinski in the middle. Now the 8 of Honeycutt will dive to the bottom, as there you see Garrett Mains throwing the block in the middle of 3 and 4.
That's one thing you're really going to see tonight, is these guys are going to really be starting to work together in groups of 3. That's going to be the fastest way to draft the next gen here at Daytona International Speedway, is having that group of 3, and you don't really want to be the parachute here, so that inside line really playing that right now, showing what I'm talking about there. And so it looks like the 8 of Caden Honeycutt's going to take the lead here into turn 1.
Drivers already working their way through, as Honeycutt will drop down to the bottom of the racetrack. Theo will lead that inside lane. Then you see Zielinski leading the middle lane, and up on the top lane is still Garrett Mains with help from Donovan Strauss. Those 2 working together, a big push coming in, as now that outside lane is getting a strong run of drivers and has pulled out by a significant margin, as here comes the number 90 machine. He's going to make a run. That is going to be the driver of Colin Keister in amongst the mix, as his Mustang will lead the charge. And Jordy Lopez Jr. in the mix.
Getting ready to say a big wiggle there in the middle. I believe that is the 3 car there of Bobby Zielinski in the middle. He drops down to the bottom, but that middle line is the most volatile line here at Daytona. It is, you are right in the hornet's nest if you're running that middle line, and you got to be so careful to be in that middle where everyone is 3 wide, inside and outside. It is a scary place to be in. Bobby Zielinski wanted no part of that.
New race leader Jordy Lopez Jr. leads the charge after a big help from the push of the number 8 of Caden Honeycutt. Garrett Mains will follow in third as they climb up to the top of the hill here in the banking of turns 3 and 4. Lopez in the BS competition machine leads the charge as they come out of turn number 4, single file on the top side. Then you have on the bottom of the racetrack, it is still going to be the driver of course, I'm trying to pull up the number here, Bobby Zielinski on the bottom of the racetrack in number 3, the 45 machine. Also, here comes Keegan Leahy with a head of steam. He wants to get involved in the mix. Throw in a couple of other drivers. Michael Guest now wanting to lead the charge, but is then dropped and blocked by Donovan Strauss.
Yeah, that's one thing you're really going to see here, is that outside line seems to be the more preferred line, especially at Daytona. And if you have the right help up there, it is going to be overpowered. But you're really seeing right now that outside line not really having that gusto, as the inside line is really starting to form up a little bit. Garrett Mains on that outside trying to give Jordy Lopez that big push he needs, but it's not going to be enough, as the inside line is going to take the momentum, and that's going to be, bit of a risky move there.
Big time block right there between the drivers of Donovan Strauss and Caden Honeycutt. Honeycutt really just shut the door on Mains and Jordy Lopez. Now Lopez drops to the bottom of the racetrack. Now you see Garrett Lowe. He's coming up through the field, one of your biggest movers of the race, as he's right there in the mix.
That's one of the fun things about plate racing right there, is you're really able to go from the back to the front, and the span is, oh, they're getting a little bit wobbly here. Oh, 4 wide.
Caden Honeycutt over the radio telling someone to lift. Contact. Oh. They're rubbing and beating and banging. How about the 66 machine almost getting turned around right there? Gathers it back up. Everyone gathers it and continues on racing. Tempers flaring already as drivers are just trying to consolidate here and get through the end. Now drivers have to jockey for position. But Michael Guest in the 45 has pulled away with help from Malik Ray as those two start to lead the top side.
There's another thing I was talking about right there. You can go from the back to the front real quick, but you can also go from the front to the back in just as fast of a time as we saw right there from Caden Honeycutt. He was leading that main pack, and he's already back at the back of, I believe that he's at the back of the main pack right now. So, yeah, like I said, it is a very volatile atmosphere here at Daytona, and if you hit one wrong move, it is the end of your race. But right now, seeing this pack start to form up a little bit as everyone starts to move to that outside line.
On here, having a decent run. He's trying to work his way up through the top of the field here as he's holding that 8 spot. Everyone now trying to dial it back at least inside the top 10. And as now I say that, Garrett Lowe dives to the bottom of the racetrack. He's going to try to slingshot past his competitor of Donovan Strauss. He gets a big push right there behind him from the 66 machine of Colin Keister and the 3 machine of Bobby Zelensky. Now the 97 of Tucker Minter dives to the bottom of the racetrack. They're trying to get that inside lane going. Now the 77 machine of Casey Kerwin comes down. Everyone goes to the bottom of the racetrack.
That's how fast lines and momentum can change here at Daytona, as we see the 12 car stuck in the middle now. He's going to be going all the way back to the back of the field. But one thing I did want to mention is, you know how I always say that in these plate races you need to keep it calm for at least the first 95% of the race? Well, yeah, we ain't going to see that tonight. Not in top split. These guys are absolutely insane with the moves they're making just this early in the race. It's lap 8 for you-know-what's sake. I mean, what?
New race leader. It is the Spire Motorsports machine of Casey Kerwin with help from Tucker Minter. Those two now as Minter dives to the bottom of the racetrack with help from Jordy Lopez. They want to lead the race up to the front of the field. It's the Logitech Chevrolet of William Byron eSports leading the charge. Lowe will be third as now a 3-car breakaway. Now a 2-car breakaway between the top two as they come out of turn number 4.
Kerwin trying to get back up to that little breakaway there with help from the 27 of Donovan Strauss. These guys should have a pretty good run here, but it doesn't look like they're going to take that momentum as that run does die out a little bit, though. Here comes someone down the middle. This is Bobby Zelensky coming up through the middle with a huge run, and we have a caution on the racetrack.
Trouble, the big one happens here in the middle of turns 1 and 2. Dylan Alt, Matthew Zwack, many other drivers involved in this one here, as we're under caution for the first time here tonight on GridVision, as we will take a look at the replay, but it involved a lot of drivers towards the back half of the field. Matthew Zwack, Keegan Leahy getting some drivers here. Tough break as we keep a little here. We'll take a look at the replay, but we're looking at some of the drivers, but it looked like just a bad push. Dylan Alt, one of the main heavy hitters that got taken out with severe damage to the nose of his number 40 Sunoco Chevrolet. As the field will have to make his way around there. You see the 99 machine also with some significant damage to the nose of his machine, part of the Nitro Circus, as he will have to work his way back up through the field in a tough break. That's going to be significant damage. He will catch up to the field as, ooh, that car is definitely crabbing. He has now hit the wall a little bit more as he tries to catch up to the end of the field.
A couple other names involved with that. Keegan Leahy has some pretty heavy damage as well. Blaze Crawford with a little bit of damage. Chris Rolhide, I believe, has a little bit of damage as well. So a ton of heavy hitters involved in that one.
Yeah, looking trouble with some technical issues, but we'll keep on watching here. Matt Busa made it through unscathed for the most part, looking over his car, along with, of course, a couple of other drivers, Tyler Gary as well. So we'll see what happens here as we pick up the field. But 10 laps on the board, 9 completed under green flag. It is Tucker Minter, your race leader here once again. Lopez, Glow, Kerwin, Donovan Strauss, your top 5. With that, we're going to take a quick commercial break, but when we come back, we'll bring you more green flag coverage here of GridVision's Monday Night Top Split.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to Ryco Performance Monday Night Top Split here on GridVision, as we are joined by a lot of great people here tonight. We have ourselves a very special guest joining us here for this segment of the race. It's Mr. Ryco Performance himself. Ken Byron joins us. Ken, I mean, first and foremost, welcome up here to the booth. A great partner that you are here with Ryco Performance as we kick off the eNASCAR season here at Daytona, and already great racing action here at Daytona.
Yeah, it's super excited to see this come together. When I met with Justin and Austin and the rest of the team here at GridVision and kind of shared our vision back and forth of what we wanted to do for the community across the board, it come together really well, and there wasn't a doubt that this was a group that I wanted to be partnered with. Their product is very similar to ours, top tier, and super excited to be able to bring this official series action to the community to be able to watch it, because a lot of the time there's a lot of high talented drivers and individuals that don't get that opportunity.
Well, as we see here, the pace car is about to make the hard left turn down on the pit road, and we're about to get the green flag for drivers about to turn loose. But a great way to kick off this race, as you had one of your own very Ryco Performance cars on the pole for this event here at Daytona.
Yeah, super excited. Chris Wilhite, he's actually a customer of ours. So to see one of our customers that's on the setup right off the website be able to outqualify some of the Coke Series guys is pretty exciting. So pretty proud of him and his high side.
But we'll talk a little bit more with you here in a minute. We got some great action up in front of the field as it's now 3 wide as they come off of turn number 2 down the Daytona Super Straight. Drivers already getting a little agitated as they're 3 wide this early on in the race. Nick and, of course, Austin Edstrom back here with us once again as we cover this amazing race here as drivers just jockey for position as they work their way off of turn number 4.
Yeah, things still kicking off here. Tempers flaring already. Lap 13 here, and they're wrecking!
The bad block right there in front of the field between Taylor Hurst and more wreck. Garrett Lowe around. And now drivers trying to get through the incident, and a big-time contact here at Daytona.
Yeah, more tempers flaring over the radio as well.
Taylor Hurst involved with this one, along with the 77 machine. Also, Max Brady, Daniel Falkingham. I mean, it was a plethora of drivers getting involved with this caution here at Daytona.
Yeah, there was a lot of big names involved in that. Casey Kerwin, I believe, was spinning towards the outside. I thought I saw Bobby Zielinski spinning as well.
Take a look here at the GridVision replay as there you see the drivers work their way through. Chaos in the back as drivers try to check up the 5 machine involved. There you see the 17 loop it around, and a tough break for a lot of big names. There you see the 7. Unfortunate for our pole sitter, Chris Wilhite. Had such a good run, was trying to play it safe, and unfortunately gets collected up in this big one.
Yeah, very big wreck, like you said, to start off this race. Lap 13, lap 14, and it's already our second big-time wreck of this race. It makes you wonder what's in store for the rest of this race if this is how action-packed this race has been so far.
It really has, and now drivers need to probably realize, hey, this is something maybe not to try when it comes for those racing in the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series. We'll go ahead and bring it back to you, Kenneth, as we just saw another big one here today, and of course, as we kick off the 2024 eNASCAR season, whether it be racing in the top splits or any of the splits in the A, B, or C Open, of course, we have the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series kicking off tomorrow, NIS, the NASCAR iRacing Series kicking off Wednesday, and of course, the Road to Pro qualifying series kicking off this Thursday. It's just a hectic week and a busy week for you guys at Ryco.
Yeah, it's we started prepping for this week, or probably a month ago, and just kind of getting some laps in. We have Garrett Maines and Ryan Luza in the Coke Series, and then Thursday with Road to Pro, we had 11 trucks go through to the second round last year, and then obviously NIS is one of the series that we're most known for. Last season we swept the top 12 in the overall point standings, which is tough to do. So a lot of prep work. My guys are really dedicated, and they love what we do. So it's been a little bit easier with that, but it's definitely been a week that we've been building up for and waiting to come, and it's a week that we really enjoy.
Well, Kenneth, before we let you go to watch the rest of tonight's Monday Night Top Split action, of course, immediately after this event, we'll be checking in on the NASCAR iRacing B Open official series that'll be immediately following this event. Where can people go to learn more about Ryco Performance? Where can people go to get those setups to where they can be a chance of being at the front of the field for any of the NASCAR iRacing series throughout the week?
Yeah, definitely. You can go to ryco.gg. We make it really simple, and you can pick up your data packs there. We're a lot different than a lot of performance providers on the sim. We provide instructional videos, telemetry data, and a lot more in-depth things. You can also find us on Twitter and Facebook, and of course, we have open arms to anybody that wants to join our Discord. Really big supportive community, and we'd be more than happy to get you on track.
Is, of course, the big man himself, Mr. Ryco, as we happily call him, Kenneth Bryan, joining us up here in the booth. Thank you, Kenneth. Good luck to you for the rest of this week and into the season. We'll be happy to have you back later on in the eNASCAR season.
Thank you.
That is Kenneth Bryan joining us, and back with us, I believe. Let's check another check. Austin, you have a copy?
Is this thing on?
Yes.
Do we have a copy?
We have a copy. We hear you loud and clear. Welcome
Good to
back.
hear. Thank goodness. I'm just waiting for another crash, to be honest. It's been a little rough on my PC in these early goings, and it looks like it's been a pretty rough going for the field here also. 2 big wrecks, I think I heard from my professor, Nick Stein, in the booth. Tough race so far?
I have to say it's been a very interesting race so far as the field gets themselves ready to go. We're about to get the 1 to green this time by, I believe, and we'll turn them loose once again. 17 laps are up on the board, and Austin, I know we didn't get the chance to get your pick because of some technical difficulties that you had, but can you go ahead and give us an idea of who your pick is currently going to be looking at for this race?
I'd probably have to go with Malik Ray. I know that he's kind of known for his super speedway prowess here on the iRacing service. Been really, really good, quick at both Daytona and Talladega back in the past, and I know he's famous for it on his Twitch stream. So I imagine Malik Ray is probably going to have to be my go-to.
Well, he's currently sitting in the 5th position, so not a bad pick for you right now. We currently have at least 1 driver out of the race. 3 drivers are off the lead lap. That's Donovan Strauss, Garrett Lowe, and Keegan Leahy, who's still on pit road, trying to repair some of the damages to his number 45 VRS Toyota for 2311, along with Donovan Strauss for the Williams eSports Duracell machine, who's on pit road at the moment. But up at the front of the field, it will be the BS competition driver of Jordi Lopez and the driver of the number 18 Interstate's battery machine of course, Bobby Zielinski.
Look at that. Our producer was already ready for the Champion Power Equipment Truck Series tomorrow. He had Brian Britt up on the old picks booth instead of Nick Stein. He's ready for tomorrow already. What in the world?
What am I, chopped liver?
Yeah, I mean, dude, at first he spelled your name wrong before the broadcast, and now he's putting the entire name wrong on the live feed. I mean, this is some
wow.
tough
Okay,
stuff,
yeah, we're really living up to that C tier producer
Hey, man.
that we gave him last year.
This is hilarious because I'm making fun of him, and I literally just had a whole PC crash to miss the first 17 laps of this thing. So
Yeah, we should be the one making fun of you.
Who's worse? Right? But hey, we're about to get this thing kicked off in my mind. Pace car is off. Jordi Lopez leading the field here ahead of Bobby Zielinski there on the outside in that Interstate Batteries Toyota Camry. Jordi Lopez gets a better jump on the inside. Colin Keister following him through.
Field now work their way through as they get themselves set. It is Jordi Lopez right there on the bottom of the racetrack leading the charge. He gets a big push from the driver of the 66 machine for Tony Kanaan Esports. That is Colin Keister right behind the Nitro Circus machine of Dylan Duval in the 41. Those 3 leading the charge. How about right there behind? It is your defending eNASCAR champion, Steven Wilson, right there, as now Tyler Gary and a couple of other drivers trying to jockey for position, as now Parker White down works his way up to the top of the field.
That outside line came with a full head of steam down the back straightaway. Malik Ray pushing White, pushing Zielinski on the outside. Ooh, a little bit of movement there from the bottom to the top. A couple drivers trying to just change lanes, coming off of turn number 4. Both of them could not quite fit in the hole. Jordi Lopez still leading that inside groove. We saw him get 3 wide down the back straightaway. One driver got shucked out from the inside line, but other than Colin Keister, everybody else still line up, nose to tail, 2 lines side by side all the way through 1 and 2.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we start to see some 3 wide going on here in once things start to calm down a little bit, because we see the jockeying for position right now between the 2 lines. But I mean, the first 2 runs that we had, the first 7-lap run and then that second 2 or 3 lap run, it didn't take them long at all to start to want to go 3 wide, and it wouldn't surprise me if we see someone pop out here within the next couple laps. And there you go, right in the back, someone tried to go 3 wide and through the middle.
Do you think that maybe they're calming down just a little bit, given what we've seen in the early going? 2 massive accidents that's taken out a lot of momentum. Well, of course, as soon as I say that, we get 2 more jump into the middle lane, trying to make that middle lane work, but it does seem a little bit more orderly than what we were watching just a few laps ago.
You know, I was telling Taylor earlier that you and I both know that one of my keys to the race that I always throw out when it comes to these plate races, especially for league races and things like that, is you gotta survive. You gotta survive the big wrecks, and you just gotta be calm, just ride around. Yeah, these guys don't know how to do that. These guys are certified crazy for, you know, the momentum they build, the moves they're making right there. The 41 going up in front of the 8 there and almost causing a huge wreck on that outside line. And man, it's just exactly what I'm talking about. These guys just don't know what the word calm means, apparently.
I mean, our SOF was what, just about 8K? So, you know, everybody in here is mega talented, mostly Coke Series drivers. So it's guys that can pull it off, but there's been 2 strikes already in the first 15 laps. You know, I mean, that would turn even the best drivers off from maybe pushing it this early on in the race. Only 20 laps in out of 70. I mean, we're still in the early going here.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I don't mean to sound or say anything bad here, but these guys don't want to calm down, because this race, it's so much talent. A lot of guys that you want to beat, because this is your competition in the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing series. So there's a lot of ego involved in this race. You don't want to calm down. You don't want to give up that spot. You don't want to give up that room. So we're not going to see much checking up here from these guys, purely because this is the warm-up to the eNASCAR Coke Series race tomorrow.
Yeah, this is really not the big money maker for this guy or these guys this week, right? So they're probably out there testing the waters a little bit, kind of like the Clash whenever it was at Daytona. They're kind of figuring out who they can trust out on the racetrack, who they can work with, or who they are just going to leave out because they know that it would be the same if it was the opposite way around. So I feel like they're kind of learning a lot of those things here tonight.
Yeah, we see right there already another move to the middle there. That is Garrett Maines, and who's that with him there? That's Tucker Minter as well, as now they're going to get some more help. That's a 77, a Casey Kerwin. What? Oh, no, excuse me. That's Malik Ray. I thought, no, Malik Ray is the 7. The 77 is Kerwin. Sorry about that.
Yeah, it's a little weird every time we have to broadcast a new series or we get used to new paint schemes, and even the coach drivers, they sometimes change paint schemes year to year, so it can be a little difficult on us to kind of remember some of them, especially coming to Daytona where they're all packed up. You're never really just looking at one paint scheme at one time. I mean, we're kind of looking at Malik Ray right here and only Malik Ray, but you know, terrible timing on the camera for what I was trying to say. Yeah, there we go. See, so many cars. It's hard. But nah, good racing up front though. Malik Ray with that big move down to the inside line, getting a huge push from the 97. Tucker Minter. Sorry, not Tucker Minter. Bobby Zielinski. I'm all tripped up tonight. Great start. Computer crashing, and I'm stuttering like a bug.
Hey, we still love you, Austin.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
Yeah, that's one thing I did want to say, though. That inside line really seems to be a lot more powerful than what we've usually seen. And I wanted to get your take on that, Austin, because I was asking Taylor earlier about it. And it's a little bit odd because you and I are both used to that outside line being, for lack of a better word, overpowered at plate tracks.
It definitely can be, but I just feel like with this next-gen car on the iRacing service, at least, they're a lot more racy than anything else. I mean, I don't really know how to explain it on the super speedways other than the drag is so heavy that you're just going to get huge runs no matter what. There's huge checkups on both lanes. I feel like you can just do so much with it that you really can't do in real life, and I think that's what we're seeing here tonight with the inside line, able to keep up with the outside pretty heavily, and the turning radius isn't that much shorter, right? It's just still a super speedway at the end of the day. That inside line can make some hay.
Yeah, for sure, especially if you have the right people pushing you. And oh man, it just about wrecked further back in that pack. And just getting ready to say, yeah, it all depends on who you have pushing you. If you have the right person pushing you, one line can pretty much pull away. I've seen it happen before where you get a whole team lined up, like say on the outside line, you could pull upwards of 30 seconds over a run. I've seen that happen before, and it's absolutely wild. But of course, it all comes down to who do you have pushing you.
Man, it's just so crazy watching these guys like make runs and sliding up to the top, to the bottom. It's so rare that you see teamwork on that fashion, like being able to move with somebody in officials. It's just a whole different show watching the top tier, right? The pros doing it week in and week out. Just how much different it is from everything else you get. Like if you are not above a 6K I rating, you can watch this back and just like learn so much from these guys. Just watch the moves they make, how they make them together, and just working with each other using the air. I swear, if you just kind of analyze it a little bit, you can really learn a lot from these guys.
Yeah, that's another thing I wanted to bring up is there's a huge, stark difference between what the pros can do and what you would see in a normal top split. Like, you can't tell me that if this was not a top split filled with pro drivers, not only would the SOF be a solid, probably close to 1,000 to 2,000 points lower than it is right now, but B, you probably wouldn't see moves be this aggressive, because then again, when it comes to top split, I saw that too. Wow. But like I was saying, you wouldn't see moves like this because you're not racing the same people every time in that top split like these pro drivers are used to. So I think that's what I'm trying to get at is we're seeing people be this aggressive because they know they can be.
That's a very fair point. You know, if any of these guys get into a race with a lower I rating, oh man, Malik Ray sideways in front of the field. Oh, what a save from Malik Ray coming back down on the racetrack. Honeycutt, give him plenty of room. Oh, Minter gets sideways. They're turned in the back of the pack. The third big one is starting, going spinning through the infield grass. The caution's not out yet. Still going down the straightaway. A couple drivers off into the infield grass through the bus stop, but it looks like we're going to stay green.
That just changed everything because that just split the entire field up. There's not a major pack anymore. There was about a pack of about 20 or 30, or about 20 to 25, and that wreck just broke that entire pack up.
Malik Ray is the one that is sideways in front of the entire field, and he somehow comes out of this better than everybody in the lead with only a 5-car draft. That's unbelievable there coming out of turn number 2. We've got to get a look at Malik Ray's save coming out of 2. I mean, that was just unreal. See the throw get spun in front of the field. Heavy contact in the outside wall from multiple guys, but everybody kept it straight. Like I said, there was a couple spinners down in the infield grass, but you're not going to get a caution for that on iRacing.
Yeah, I'm going to go back and look at that Malik Ray save because that was just insane to watch. I caught the tail end of it, and yeah, that was an insane save from the 7 car.
It was sideways for so long, and the next-gen cars, man, they're some of the hardest to save, I gotta say. Like, they're the easiest in the series to overcorrect in my mind. And that for him to not even turn it back to the outside wall, he got hit more after he had it saved. I mean, that was insane. I mean, tough break for just about everybody else. I mean, that's kind of rough because a ton of guys, whether they lost the draft or not, have got damage. I think that whole second pack is probably okay. Maybe a couple guys in there with some fender damage, but everybody behind that I'm a little bit more worried about.
Oh yeah, like I just went back and looked at that, and wow, that's about the only thing I can say, because you are 100% right on the next gen being one of the hardest cars to save, because if you get into that quote-unquote iRacing death wobble that is notorious in the next gen car, then good luck. Power to you if you save it, but good luck trying not to hit the wall. And I don't know how Malik Ray saved that. It's genuinely got me stuttering right now how he saved that.
I mean, you do have a little bit more rear downforce on these things than mile and a halfs, right? So maybe that aided him a little bit. But regardless, that's he was 30 degrees sideways in front of the entire pack coming out of turn number 2. Is that generous?
I would go about 35 to 40. He was almost dead sideways in front of the field there, and just wow.
I do think they're getting run down though. This second pack. Well, actually, this lap they've gained a little bit on that second pack. It seems over the going into 3 they lose a little bit more, so it's a little bit back and forth, but. Still, this front 5 are looking really pretty. Malik Ray's coming up the racetrack just a little bit, making sure he doesn't cut off any speed coming out of the corner. Not tightening that wheel too much coming out of 4.
Yeah, that's I'm looking at the speeds between these two packs, and oh yeah, this second pack led by Max Brady and Garrett Lowe, yeah, they're a lot faster. They're doing a solid 200 miles an hour through the corner right now compared to about 195 for this lead pack. So it's only a matter of time before the second pack catches and inevitably passes this lead pack.
Second pack does have what? About 10, maybe not quite 10 cars, but 8 or 9 compared to the front 5, so it does make sense they're gaining on a little bit. The next pack behind that, though, it's just a little 6-car pack. I feel like I'm a little bit more worried for them. I don't know if I see any damage on any of these guys, and there's a couple team cars with Ryco Performance in there, so I can maybe see them making a little bit of time up, but I feel like as soon as the second pack right here actually catches our main pack, it'll just be way, way quicker, and they might just be left out to dry. I mean, if they can build up a big enough head of steam, and maybe the side draft slows the main pack down a little bit as soon as they get side by side, maybe could pull them back into it, but I'd be a little bit more worried about that third pack.
Yeah, that's one thing, though, with this second pack, is as soon as they catch a sniff of the draft from that lead pack, it is going to be incredibly difficult to stop any run that first pack can build up at all, because just how big of a run you can get. I mean, these guys are doing about 202 miles an hour down the back straightaway the second pack is, and if you catch a wind of draft with that, you're looking at upwards of 206 miles an hour, and there's almost no stopping that.
I think we might have just seen a little bit of strategy here in the front pack. I think Malik was probably going to be running a little bit lower on fuel than a couple of these other guys. Maybe they're trying to stretch it a little bit further. And he had been leading for a lot of this, so I feel like maybe he was just trying to save a little bit of fuel. Michael Guest lets him in there in 4th place. Keeps that pack tight and doesn't give the second pack a extra car in Malik Ray. I don't know if it was for fuel saving or what, but Honeycutt's a little damaged on the right front, so I don't know if he would be the best car leading this pack.
Here comes that second pack, though. They've officially caught the lead pack, and they're working on getting side by side once again, and they're about even with 5th place car here, and we'll see what kind of run this can generate here, but it looks like that they should be taking the lead here very quickly.
Well, that's still that's the second and third pack merging. We still got Caden Honeycutt up at the front with this right front damage. They're in the main pack right here, the top 5. I just don't know if that second pack is going to have a big enough head of steam. They're still quite a ways back.
Yeah, this second and third, I did not realize this is the second and third pack. I thought this was the lead pack, but yeah, now that they've combined forces, and if they get single file, it's going to be very hard, like I said, to stop.
They're about to catch a couple more lap cars too, so they're probably going to get a little bit more help. So it's probably only a matter of time. And we are coming up on green flag pit stops, I do believe, right? I mean, we're probably going to be cutting this as soon as these guys can pit. They're probably going to take the fuel just to make sure they keep the track position. I mean, I feel like that would probably be the strategy call, as long as you have enough teammates coming down with you. But it looks like we might have actually already had some pit stops with the way some of these guys are staggered out. I couldn't quite tell if these were guys just caught in the accident or guys that are coming out from a pit stop.
I was getting ready to say, I think that these guys are going to try to pit as soon, like you said, as soon as they can and make it to the end. So we're coming up on that window because I believe fuel window for the next gen at Daytona, if I remember correctly, is 33 laps. So I do think that we should start to see some people start to cool down within the next couple of laps and make that final pit stop. That way they can make it to the end should this race go green.
I do think that second pack's starting to come too. They gained 5/10 just that lap alone. So I think this big mega second pack that we've gotten is going to run down these leaders really, really quick. Especially with Honeycutt leading with that right front damage. I feel like that's only got to hurt this main pack. I'm kind of surprised that Malik dipped out and gave it to Honeycutt, and Honeycutt hasn't dropped back as well.
Yeah, this is for sure going to be an easy catch for this second pack. Now led by Blaze Crawford, getting pushed by the likes of Max Brady, Garrett Lowe, and Nicholas Roman. So, yeah, the second pack should catch fairly quickly, and they're really pulling in time hand over fist.
Yeah, and before they do, my producer just told me that I have to shill for subscribers because we are one away from 500. So hit that subscribe button. I know that I'm being a little outright with that, a little upfront. I apologize. But my producer's in my ear, man. I can't, he's the boss man, right? He pays my bills. That's the best I can do for you. And we'd appreciate it, though, because it does pay my bills, man.
Yeah, that's a fair ask, I think.
Yeah,
I don't
exactly.
think that's too egregious.
We provide you Ryco Performance Monday Night Top Split entertainment, and you give me dinner on my table.
Yeah,
and it just takes one subscription.
We give you the ultimate entertainment. And, just
exactly.
A quick little subscription in return. It's free.
I can only eat bread if we get 500 subscribers tonight. And I'm allergic to gluten, so that sucks. Oh boy. Well, the race for the lead. Caden Honeycutt did get out of the way for Parker White here up at the front. Switching up our leaders. I think maybe Caden needs to save a little bit. Maybe they realize they're giving up a little bit of time to that second pack, but it kind of stalled out a little bit. But now Caden getting out of the way, giving way to Parker White, who's got a fresh, clean race car there, coming out of turn number 2 in the 53. As you can see, we're at Daytona Beach, Daytona International Speedway, baby. Getting ready, kicking off the week right with some Monday Night Top Split. We've got some big races ahead today, or sorry, this week, obviously, in the virtual and real life. Cannot wait. I'm upset I'm not getting to race in the Daytona 500 this week. It's kind of sad, but we will be seeing it broadcast on GridVision on Friday night. Also, Ryco Performance Friday night NIS Top Split. Be there or be square. It's going to be an amazing race. This is just the kickoff to the weekend, almost like the Clash, right? This is the iRacing Clash for us.
Yeah, that Friday night's going to be fun. You said be there or be square. We're actually at an oval, so I don't know what that.
Well, that's the thing. If you're there, you're an oval, but if you're not there, you're a square.
Oh, okay. That joke completely flew over my head. So yeah, we're gonna ignore that. That didn't happen. Nobody saw that or heard that.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna act like there was a joke there, even though there wasn't, and you just made yourself
I knew
look
where you
doubly
were
stupid.
going. I knew where you were going, Austin. That's why I said.
This is the time of the race where it devolves just a little bit for some reason because they get strung out in single file, and then as soon as they pit and we have something to talk about, bam, action time.
Yeah, we're just having fun. We're getting warmed up here. I think that's what's happening right.
Like I said, this is our Clash, man. We're learning. Man, heavy shoving down in the back of the second pack, just trying to keep everybody in line, trying to catch the lead pack still. That gap has actually grown a little bit. They're struggling in that second pack. They've kind of lost their momentum.
Yeah, they've been getting some extracurriculars, I guess is a good way to put it. I've been keeping my eye on the second pack, and there's been a lot of shuffling around between the leaders, so. And yeah, I'd sit here looking. These are all lap cars. Interesting. So I guess Blaze did not want any part of being pushed by lap cars, which I mean, that is a totally fair assumption. I wouldn't want to be pushed by lap cars anyway when I'm trying to catch the leaders that are starting to pull away a little bit more, as that gap has already creeped upwards of 3 seconds.
Well, I think it's hurting because Garrett Lowe's leading the pack, and he's got heavier right front damage than Caden Honeycutt did. I think that's probably what is hurting him. And now he just dipped out so that somebody else could lead the line. So we're going to see now with Jacob Schneider at the front and a perfectly clean race car. Maybe we can get a better gauge on the second pack, but Garrett Maines, Garrett Maines is absolutely torn up. I didn't even realize how heavy he got in that accident.
Oh man, that was a little bit sketchy there at the back of the pack. Almost almost a self spin there from, I believe that was the 12 car almost getting involved. So yeah, definitely some extracurriculars going on in the second pack, which is leading to them not really being able to catch that lead pack right now.
I'm kind of surprised that we haven't seen any pit stops yet. I figured maybe once one of the packs started losing out to the other one, maybe we would see some people start dipping down pit road, trying to use that advantage to make sure they're in the lead pack. But so far, the second pack has started falling back, and they kind of haven't bailed yet. So I'm kind of surprised we haven't had a couple of them call out and go down to pit road together and see if they can kind of form back up. But just seems like maybe that lead pack. Well, I guess I get it. They're probably scared of that lead pack 6 strong, having that much longer of time on the racetrack, right? It would probably pull them ahead before the pit stop. So I'm kind of talking myself in circles here, but I guess it makes sense to run it a little bit further.
You're confusing me, Austin.
I know, dude. I just ran circles in my mind. Like I said, I knew I was going somewhere, and then it came back. But hey,
If that
like I said, it's our clash,
is,
man. We're getting used to it. We're getting used to it.
I was gonna say, if that isn't ADHD, I don't know what is.
Hey.
Hey, I can say that. I can say that. I have
Undiagnosed.
I have ADHD too. I can say that. It's fine. It's a support group.
Parker White leading the way. We're gonna go ahead and change subject on that one. Steven Wilson still in second place. Malik Ray riding in third. I can formulate my thought better. It is better to go long because you're in your pack turning the speed. Instead of having to get out of the pack and formulate back up, you lose more. So you would lose the main pack after the pit stops. That's what I meant. All right, this took a deep turn. It's because they're not giving me any action on the racetrack. They need to kick it up. This is the calm before the storm.
Kick it up, Buttercup.
Waiting on that green flag pit stop. But that second pack is still just falling off. I'm really surprised. They looked like they were good. As soon as they merged up, it looked like that second pack was going to cut them in, but just seems to not be the case. Having a tough time of it coming out of turn 2 right now, just not lined up as well.
Yeah, I think that this second pack is really trying to form up for a pit stop because we're seeing this. There's 3 Ryco cars in this second pack. I think they're really trying to get ready for a pit stop here as you got the 99 of Nicholas Roman, Jacob Schneider, and Joseph all lined up. So I think these guys are getting ready to pit, and maybe that's why we're seeing a lot of shuffling around is because none of these guys want to lead this pack and have to pull down in front of the entire pack, to pit. So.
But we are coming up on it regardless, because I know a lot of these guys, at least I'm pretty confident, even though I wasn't here for the first 15 laps, thank you, PC, pretty sure a couple of these guys have not pitted at all. So we've got to be coming up on the pit stops at some point, right?
Yeah, you would think. I believe for sure everybody pitted under that first caution.
Oh, the first one they did? Okay.
Yeah. I couldn't tell you about the second one. I wasn't paying attention to pit road, which, I mean, that's kind of my job is to pay attention to the caution and look and see who pit. But, I'm not very good at my job, so we'll see.
Well, hey, my PC crashed before the job even started, so I'm not very good at my job. And we have Austin Derbyshire as a producer, so we're
C-tier producer. Yeah, we're over 3. It's a rough start to the season. It looks like we're gonna be the Oakland Athletics of the commentary. Going 54 on 112.
Hey, I was thinking more like 57, 58.
I
think we got a little bit more out of us.
Yeah, that's a little bit optimistic there, I think.
Come on now. Right now we got the 53 leading the way going down to turn 3. Steven Wilson still right behind. Not really much change up going on through the pack, but I know we're just waiting on those green flag pit stops. And then we've really got to watch the gap after that. Check out those numbers, and then that's where we're really going to get to see what kind of race we got. Because if they come out all scattered, we got a chance to get a couple different packs forming and seeing a bigger pack for the finish. But if they come out and they're just in 2 packs like this, I think this is all we're going to get for the rest of the race.
Yeah, this is that kind of one of my least favorite parts of plate races is this lull in action where we're just, like you said, waiting for that green flag pit stop to commence and just waiting for that action that we know is going to happen once people start coming down pit road. And I believe I'm hearing some talks of people wanting to come down and pit, so maybe need to keep an eye on both these packs here and see if anyone does come down to pit.
I'm just shocked that second pack isn't doing anything. I feel like they should be easily running down this main pack at this point. They cut into the lead just a little bit that last lap, but I mean, it's nothing to write home about. They're still 3.5 seconds, over 3.5 seconds back. I'm shocked because they were just about under 2.
Yeah, they were under 1 at one point, I believe, and then things kind of just went sideways. So, yeah, we'll see. It's I kind of feel like, that meme with the stick figure, and he's like poking the stick at something. It's like, come on, do something. Yeah, it's kind of how I feel right now. It's just we're just waiting, sitting here.
Well, they're
waiting.
about to do something. We're about to get the pit stops. You never know. Somebody could get right hooked coming down to pit road, and they spin back on track, and we get a caution that bunches everybody up.
Yeah, it's that good old game of hurry up and wait.
Yeah, exactly. And sometimes you lose.
Yeah.
Hopefully we don't lose tonight.
Just like the Oakland Athletics.
Oh. But dude,
Hey, I can I can bully them. I'm a Texas Rangers fan. We're in the same conference.
I don't like baseball, so.
Boo.
Sorry, we can't be friends.
Boo.
But I do like race cars going around in circles, baby. Malik Ray leading the way coming out of turn number 2. It is getting to that point where the random country accents come out.
Alabama.
Yes, sir. 22 laps to go. I do believe our lap counter is actually off by 1, so.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
We're on lap 49, and your lap counter says 48. Look at that. Ah, what would you do without me?
C-tier producing.
C-tier producing for the C-tier race we're getting right now after that caution that wasn't a caution. Coming 23, or sorry, 22 laps to go. 21, sorry, I'm looking at the wrong number still.
Yeah, so,
oh man, I thought we were getting our caution right there. He did that on purpose, I guarantee it.
I didn't
remember that was in the back of the pack. In the first pack, they ducked down to go to the inside of Garrett Maines whenever they were lapping him to 62. Guarantee that was on purpose, but in the moment, it scared the hell out of me because I thought he was about to rear-end Garrett Maines out of nowhere. So he definitely fooled me on that one.
Yeah, we should, I believe, yeah, we're getting up to the point where these guys, that even if they didn't pit under that second caution, it should be running towards the end of their fuel windows. So I'm surprised we haven't seen any pit stops yet. We've been yapping about it for the last 10 laps and nothing has happened. So
we've been yapping about it because that's kind of like all we have to look forward to right now. We're just waiting on that. But the second pack is actually finally closing in on the first pack. So they've cut it down about a second and a half over the course of the last 3 or 4 laps. So we're getting a little bit closer. There could be something to that could happen here at the end of this thing to bring these 2 packs together and give us a little bit better of a finish.
Thank you to Taylor helping me with math because I suck at math. We're about 6 or 7 laps from pit stops according to him.
Man! So. If we're that far away from pit stops, we're going to take our last commercial break here of the A Open on Monday night. Stick with us.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
live on GridVision. Everybody's coming down for those green flag pit stops. It all happened all of a sudden. Both of the lead packs were coming together at the same moment, and everybody comes down pit road on the exact same lap. Could get one mega pack coming out of pit road, and this is all because of our producing genius. We got the lap counter to where this race will end on lap 69 on the counter on the top, so that we have a nice finish tonight. That's what we're going for the good luck. Because everybody's coming out of pit road, and they had really good luck on pit road. Nobody really having any incident. Looks like, a little bit of check up there for guests, letting Parker White back in before the apron turn down in turn 1. That made sense. It'll be a nice finish, but the commentary, probably not.
Yeah, get that nice number. The best lap in all of racing, lap 69, is going to be the finish on our ticker. That's going to be amazing. Great. Nice.
Wonder how many times we can work that in by the end of the race.
At least 7.
Oh, if that was an inside joke, I love it.
It was.
Throwback to Indianapolis.
Oh,
Anyway.
Or, hear me out. Hear me out. 12.
I'm not a fan of 12.
Fair enough.
That was yours. Either way, it does look like we've got 2 little packs here, I suppose, right? Just the front 2 leaders getting ran down by a bigger pack. About 7 cars coming up on the outside. Michael Guest trying to take that second pack with him around both of our 2 leaders, the 62, 53. Michael Guest getting around the outside of Busa and White. Coming out of turn number 2. That outside line completely overtakes the 2 leaders. Actually, there's only one of those on the lead lap. My mistake. But
yeah, I believe it's only the 53 on the lead.
We were just about to get those 2 packs come together, and the pit stop kind of ruined it. We've still only got about a 7 or 8 car pack. I thought it was about to be 12 or 13 strong.
Yeah, that would have been nice, but Daytona doesn't like pack racing,
It's unfortunate, man. I still think we're going to get a good finish. These guys are going to hold strong in a line until they know that they're the only pack that could win this thing, and then they're going to go absolutely crazy. Let's be honest. I mean, it doesn't matter how many cars we got in the main pack. They're going to lose their minds, and we got 8. We still got an 8 strong field here. Is every car in this pack on the lead lap?
No.
No, one is out.
One is out. Yeah, it's going to be Matt Busa's the only car I believe that is a lap down in this lead pack. I can do some checking real quick. Yeah,
so we're still in for a banger of a finish here from that lead pack. Got about 12 laps to go at the stripe. Michael Guest leading the way. Malik Ray, Max Brady, Casey Kerwin, Blaze Crawford, Steven Wilson, Michael P. Frisch, and Parker White all going to have an opportunity to win this thing. Coming to 12 laps to go. I don't think that second pack is going to be able to do anything. It's 3 Ryco Performance Mustangs coming through the tri-oval. It's just they're really far back, but they're actually gaining on the lead pack a little bit, I believe.
Yeah, I was literally, as soon as you finished talking, I was literally going to get ready to mention that the Ryco Performance boys, Nicholas Roman, Jacob Schneider, and Joseph were all lined up, and they're making some time right now. Of course, as soon as I click onto them, they immediately fall down to about 195 miles an hour and start losing time. So, yeah, it's fun here. It's fun.
Well, they're starting to race up to the front, so this could actually give them an opportunity here. Coming to 11 laps to go. There might be a chance for them yet. I mean, I don't know. They're pretty far back, but if these guys get side by side drafting like they are, they're going to bring them right into the fray. This is probably going to be about an 11 car battle for the lead as we come to 11 laps to go. Max Brady leading the way. Blaze Crawford in second. I think I might have lost my commentator buddy, Nick Stein. I believe he is gone.
Here.
Oh, he's here. Never mind.
My Discord froze for some reason. So, yeah, fun.
You're just a little mouse there for a second. Michael Guest on the outside, getting a push from Malik Ray. Huge push on the outside line. They're lined up way better on the outside. Oh, but Malik Ray gets shoved into the outside fence. He's gonna drop down, spin it down to the inside. To the inside apron. Don't quite know what that was from Malik Ray. That was just all of a sudden him dipping out.
Yeah, and you mentioned that second pack catching them. They are catching pretty quickly. I believe they're going to pull that gap down to under 2 seconds here. Yeah, Nicholas Verman just barely under a second. So this lead pack, if this little second group of cars keeps up at this pace, this lead pack's going to grow by 3.
Pretty tidy side-by-side racing up front now, though. They're not slowing it down on each other too much, but Roman's still coming. I mean, that gap is... We've already seen one casualty of that with Malik Ray, but man, they're racing for it. 10 laps to go.
Yeah, and looking at this this group of like 3 cars, this is almost to a T how you want to push. Like, it's one thing I describe every time I watch a cup
Ooh,
race.
Max Brady just got Kyle Busch on the inside of that. I mean, that looked just like Kyle Busch from the class in like 2012. Super sideways all over the apron, saves that thing, and that's definitely going to bring the Ryco Performance Mustangs into this.
Oh yeah, for sure. They've already gotten up to the 90 car, and they're going to pass them. We got a car with a blown engine on the bottom there. I believe that may be Keegan Leahy.
I thought that was it for sure. I thought Max Brady was done, and I thought that half of the front pack was done with him. I mean, I cannot believe he held on to that thing. That almost brought everybody else back into it. The 45 off the pace, smoke billowing out of the back of that thing coming out of turn 4, Keegan Leahy. But up front, Michael Guest on the outside. Oh, man, Casey Kerwin on the inside, give it a shove.
Oh, man, they're getting crazy up here.
Hard side-by-side racing all throughout the pack. Everybody is finally all convened in once. Just about everybody on the lead lap within a shouting distance of the leader is up there. All 11 vehicles up in the main pack. I believe we've got 12 in the main pack that are out there. Maybe we've got one extra that is not on the lead lap, just the 62 there, Matt Busa. Everybody else is in the running for the win.
Yeah, and things are going to get wild here. We got a little bit of a breakaway here up front. That is that's Steven Wilson and Parker White up front, starting to form a little bit of a breakaway, but now that they only have the two, that outside line's going to start to catch once again, and we'll see if anyone makes a move here trying to go for that lead, but it looks like they're just going to ride for a couple of laps.
Well, you say that, but somebody's making a huge move down to the inside. I believe that was Casey Kerwin from 4th place into 77. Ducking under Michael Guest, now getting a huge shove from the 58 on the inside line.
Going down the back straightaway. That outside line still has the run, but as you did mention, Casey Kerwin now leading that inside line, getting a huge push. There's a 50 machine there. I wonder who that is. I believe that may be... That is Michael Frisch there on giving the push to Casey Kerwin. He's got help from Nicholas Roman behind, and this inside line's coming.
It's going to take us some time on the paint schemes, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's the hardest part. But man, hard racing up at the front of the field. 6 laps to go. I actually think our lap counter's off by 2 now. I don't know how the heck that happened. So we're not ending on 69, unfortunately. Steven Wilson, Parker White falling off of that top line. Casey Kerwin up to the race lead, goes to the top lane, throws a block on Parker White. White stays with him, doesn't duck down to the inside. I feel like he could have taken that run. Thinks better of it, stays to the outside, keeps that momentum up there, stays in 2nd place, in a good attacking position there for the 53.
Looks like that inside line's gonna come in with a little bit more steam here, as now some more help. You got Vroman now doing the pushing here with Jacob Schneider as that 3rd help car, and it looks like they're not going to be catching as fast as they were with Kerwin on that inside, but they are still starting to pull in a little bit of time here with that outside line. They see that. They're starting to ante up their efforts trying to get that lead, but as I say that, that help falls off, and now that inside line is starting to come in again.
Yeah, the outside line's starting to have to defend a little bit through 1 and 2. They kind of were finally pinching the inside line. We have not been seeing that the whole time. Pinching down the inside line a little bit, but also giving themselves a little bit of side draft, likely slowing down both lanes. We've just kind of been seeing them committed to the outside, but as soon as that inside got a good run going down into turn 1 with Michael Frisch on the inside, seemed like the outside just had to respond, come down, pinch off that run coming out of turn number 2. Kerwin and White didn't come down too much, but even they had to come down a little bit to kind of block off the middle lane, and as everybody on the outside just kind of came down. But Casey Kerwin still leading the way over Parker White, Steven Wilson on the outside. Seems like that outside just has a little bit too much momentum at this point, but it really leaves the front couple open to attack, man. Any of these guys could dip down at any point and use a run.
As you say that, almost a pretty massive wreck there. Blaze Crawford now, Matt Busa. Nope, that's not Matt Busa, excuse me. But Blaze Crawford, that is Brady there in the middle. They're trying to help Busa getting really loose, and now Michael Frisch has lost all of his help on that inside line, and everyone has gone up to the outside.
Yeah, and I feel like this is everybody in the top 3 or 4 are basically content. And then we've got 2 lap cars with Lopez and Busa, and then everybody else behind is just kind of, I don't know, I hate to say it, but dead in the water at this point. I mean, they don't really have enough help to make that inside line have a big enough run, and I think everybody in the top 4 is just going to be kind of content until the last lap.
Yeah, we're not really going to see any momentum or any runs made until that white flag comes out. And you and I both know, because I believe you and I were on the call for that NIS Talladega race, things got crazy. It was kind of single file until that white flag came out, and then it's like a bomb went off. Everyone was just everywhere.
And we do actually only have 3 laps remaining. I want to point that out to everybody watching at home. Only 3 laps to go. Coming to take 2 to go. this time by using a new software here this week, working out the bugs. But Casey Kerwin leading the way, coming to take 2 laps to go. Parker White in second, Steven Wilson third, Michael Guest in 4th place. The next 2 cars are lapped down. Do not worry about them. And then everybody on back is just trying to find a way to get up to this top 4.
Yeah, this top 4 is where this race is going to be settled. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I just don't think anyone further back behind, say the likes of Matt Booser or Jordy Lopez, are really going to have that run that they need to be able to get up even with the top 4 or so. So I think this top 4 of Casey Kerman, that 53 of Parker White, Steven Wilson, and Michael Guest, that's where this race is going to be settled.
Well, we're starting to see a little bit of movement in the very, very back. The final 3 cars all duck out under the Ryco Performance cars and have a huge run to the inside using that lap car.
Right as you...
The 50 gets turned off the nose of the 17 coming to the line. Parker White leading the way. Oh, Kerwin throws a hip check to the 17. Massive incident coming through the tri-oval, but they've taken the white flag. Parker White leads the way. Steven Wilson in second and Casey Kerwin in third. Parker White got a little loose off of turn 2, getting a little nervous there. Thought Steven Wilson was turning him. Steven Wilson has a little bit of damage to that right front fender. And now there's a second pack forming. 3 Ryco Performance Mustangs coming to the outside. Frisch throws a block going down into turn number 3. Kind of breaks up that run. That might have screwed their opportunity, but Frisch has a pretty good run coming from 4th. I think it's going to be between the 2 up front, though. Parker White, Steven Wilson, side by side coming to the line. Parker White throws 2 huge blocks. Comes down to the apron. Parker White wins it. He wins the Ryco Performance Monday Night Top Split race number 1 from Daytona.
I am so sad that I had to miss that last lap because I had my sound go out again. I am devastated that I missed that.
Yeah, we had a little bit of silence on the backstretch, and I was like, oh, I guess I'm taking it. But that is unfortunate, though. You missed a heck of a finish. I cannot believe Parker White was able to throw those 2 huge blocks. I thought he was going to be dead in the water on the first one, especially the second one. I thought he was getting turned into the outside wall. Steven Wilson cut him a break. Still finishes in second place. Casey Kerwin in third. Froman, Frisch, Joseph, Jacob Schneider, and Michael Guest round out your top 8. Crazy finish, man. Yeah, I can't believe what we just witnessed.
Getting ready to say the same thing. An absolutely wild finish there.
We did say it was going to be nice, didn't we?
Yeah, we did say that.
We called it. But no, I thought it was all for naught, really, coming to whenever they took the white flag. Casey Kerwin got together with somebody, couldn't quite tell who it was, coming through the tri-oval. Big accident coming out of the Daytona tri-oval and took out a lot of contenders, and it looked like we were going to have the second pack be able to do something. A couple of Ryco Performance Mustangs were coming up through the field with a huge run down the back straightaway going into turn 3, and Frisch threw a huge block, killed the momentum, almost gave himself some momentum, but it died through 3 and 4, and we saw a heck of a race to the finish with Parker White fending off Steven Wilson.
Yeah, one of the better plate races I think I've ever watched. So yeah, that was a fun one.
I don't know if we're going to be able to interview any of our top finishers. We might not have them with the Discord, but we will of course try that if we can get a touch of any of them. But we're going to go to a commercial break while we try to get in touch with our top 3. Welcome back to the Ryco Performance Monday Night Top Split from Daytona. And our race rundown: Parker White in first, Steven Wilson second, Casey Kerwin rounds out the podium with Nicholas Roman, Michael Frisch, Joseph, Michael Guest, Blaze Crawford, Caden Honeycutt, and Chris Wilhite rounding out your top 10. Tyler Gary in 11th, Colin Keister 12th, Wyatt Tinsley 13th, Dylan Duvall 14th, and Bobby Zielinski round out your top 15. We're going to jump right over to our interview for our race winner, Parker White, if we can bring him up in the Discord. Parker White, do you have a copy?
Yeah, I got you guys.
Parker, man, it just seemed like the seas kind of opened there for you coming to the white flag. Kind of walk us through that last lap.
Yeah, the last lap was interesting. I wasn't quite sure what I wanted to do as Steven, because obviously we were teammates and we were trying to build up a run. We had Guest behind us who is teammates with Casey, so we just knew that we had to get past Casey before they could get hooked up on the high side and just side draft us. So we executed that pretty well. I saw our other teammate, Michael Frisch, he had a really big run on the front stretch. So Steven and I dropped down a bit early off of turn 4, and we had a really good run on Casey, so we were able to clear Casey, and then I think they all wrecked behind us. I didn't watch the replay yet, but field dark behind us, and that basically left just Steven and I, and Guest was a ways back, and Casey was about 3/10 back from Steven. So I decided to back up to Steven. He got to my bumper into 3. We pulled away from Casey, and then it was just a race between us. And then I just threw basically the perfect luck I could have possibly thrown there off of 4, and I was able to do it in one race.
So are those blocks working out? Is that only because you and Steven are good buddies and y'all can laugh it off, or do you think that you could have pulled that off with anybody else in the field and not got turned into the outside fence?
I feel like if it was anybody else in the field, they would have made that move a bit earlier, because I would have just been a complete sitting duck that entire last lap. But since Steven and I were able to communicate, I was able, like, he told me into 3 just to lift. I knew at that point that he wasn't going to pass me then, because he just wanted me to lift so that we could get hooked up and pull away from Casey a bit. But I figured that coming off of 4, he'd make a move high at some point, and I kind of just predicted that when I saw him go high. I could just kind of flick the car to the outside, just stall his momentum. Then I knew the only place he could go then was low, so I just turned it low. So yeah, if it was anyone else in the field, I would kind of just be a sitting duck.
Well, Parker, congratulations, and hopefully for you, this can kind of be a good momentum builder for tomorrow night. Are there any shout-outs you can give here at the end of the interview?
Yeah, just got to thank Williams eSports. I have to thank Northwest Racing, of course, for the setup, and got to thank you guys for the broadcast, of course.
We appreciate it, Parker, and congratulations again on bringing home the checkered flag. I think next up we're going to interview your teammate. Steven Wilson is in the Discord. Steven, do you have a copy, buddy?
I got you, man.
Man, Steven, I thought you were going to be able to pull this one off coming out of turn 4. Your good buddy Parker kind of keyed us in on y'all maybe playing a little nicer to each other. If this was anybody else in the field, would you have maybe held your ground a little bit more on one of those moves?
Yeah, probably. I mean, I was trying to work with Parker. I was just trying to push him at least off of 4 so that it would be between me and him. I wanted to make sure that one of us would win and preferably get a 1-2 there, which we did. So that was the goal. So yeah, but I think tomorrow's race, obviously I'll know about what I did today, and obviously that it didn't work. So I'll try something different, and hopefully I didn't use up all my luck in this race though.
Yeah, being with so many other Coke guys in the split, does this actually come off as a really good practice race before Coke? The night before, you can kind of get a good idea of where everybody's standing?
Yeah, it is. I mean, in this race, everyone's just being aggressive for the whole 70 laps. I'm sure tomorrow night we might see some guys with some aggressive moves right away to get track position, but I think there'll be a little calm period. But with everybody being so aggressive in this race, it prepares you for when things ramp up at the end of the race tomorrow, and you'll know what moves to make and who you can trust and work with.
Well, it's good to know going into tomorrow night to watch the Coke Series and see how y'all do. Also, see if you can kind of back up your 1-2 here tonight in the first A Open race of the season. Congrats on the 1-2. Great team finish as well. Hopefully y'all can do it again tomorrow night. Any shout-outs you got for us?
Yeah, thanks, man. I want to give a shout-out to M80, new team for this season, and also give a shout-out to Northwest Racing, everybody over there. Obviously worked with Parker at the end, so thank you to all of them, and appreciate you guys for putting this broadcast on.
We appreciate it, Steven, and congrats again on the 1-2 finish here tonight. Hope to see if you can back it up tomorrow.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to send it for a 10-minute break as we line up our B Open race here at Daytona. Stick with us.
as we welcome you back to our continuation of the Ryco Performance Monday Night Top Split. This time, we're going to take the NASCAR Xfinity cars out for a run around the World Center of Racing at Daytona International Speedway. Good evening, everyone. Once again, I'm back, Taylor Burris, along with Austin Edstrom, our producer, Austin Derbyshire, hard at work as we get ready for part 2 of our Ryco Performance Monday Night Top Split. And Austin, if anything we saw from the A Open event, this one's going to be just as exciting as we see some of the future stars of the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series head to the track now.
Yeah, we're in for a good show here. The B car always puts on a good show at super speedways here on the iRacing service. Can't wait to get this one started. I know that everybody in the field is looking forward to getting this B Open season kicked off as well. Full disclosure, this is the second race of the B Open, but I'd be willing to bet this is still just as high of an SOF, if not just under, than what we had earlier. And that A Open was definitely worth watching, being the first A Open of the season. And I think we're going to get a great race here right after that. I mean, we got to go through our keys to the race. Going to be very similar to our A Open keys of the race. We saw Parker White was the best one with the keys in hand earlier tonight. Got to find your dance partner, figure out who your partner is, who's your friends, who are your enemies, and prep for the big one.
Absolutely.
Always got to be on your toes.
Yes, you do, and you got to be ready to call those audibles in case of that situation. We saw a couple of drivers pull a couple of audibles on pit stop strategies at the end of the race, but let's take one quick look at here at the World Center of Racing. Daytona International Speedway opened in 1959, courtesy of Google Earth. As we take a look down onto the circuit, this track here, 31 degrees of banking on the turns. And of course, the Daytona Super Stretch is going to be one where we'll see a lot of excitement. And then, of course, the tri-oval there, you should see on the start-finish line as we take a tour around the World Center Racing. Great work that we see here from our amazing producer and production team as the drivers get themselves ready for qualifying here in the B Open race. And we got ourselves a couple of heavy hitters in this event. Drivers such as Andrew Navarro, Peyton Howell, who are competing, Andrew Payne, and even drivers from the NASCAR Xfinity themselves. Garrett Smithley is racing in tonight's race as well.
Yeah, multiple talented drivers here tonight, like we mentioned earlier. The second race here of B Open so far on Monday night, ever since the series swapped over. We're gonna jump right into our picks. I think I'm gonna stick up at the top of the board. I'm gonna go with Andrew Navarro.
Very good, strong pick. For me, you can't go wrong with the NASCAR Xfinity driver, Garrett Smithley. I'm going to have to be watching him here in the number 14.
And our producer's picking the 6 of Andrew Payne to bring it home to get the checkered flag here tonight. Don't pay attention to the cars. Those are a little off, but the numbers make a little bit more sense, I believe.
We'll see how the field of drivers are. Currently at the top of the leaderboard, it is John Jenkins who is currently at the top with the team Conti Chevrolet, who will lead the charge. And of course, tonight's broadcast is brought to you by Ryco Performance. We had, of course, Mr. Ryco himself, Kenneth Bryan, on the show to talk a little bit about the amazing partnership that Ryco Performance and GridVision have for the 2024 eNASCAR season. Go learn more, of course, at rycoperformance.gg or on all of their social media platforms such as X, Facebook, and also on YouTube. So don't forget, as well as their Discord channel, to be a part of this amazing growing community, as they are one of the top builders in the eNASCAR community, as qualifying is just about underway. We saw in the race 1 with the A Open cars, Austin, not a lot of drivers taking time to qualify. Currently, right now, we only have about 5 drivers who have set a time. A couple of more are looking to set some times in qualifying as well. It's a matter of possibly trying to maybe be towards the back of the field to save your equipment, or is it better to just go ahead and be at the front of the field and just hope you have a better race car to keep in front?
It's hard to even say if you're even starting at the back, right? I mean, even if you're if you're one of the guys that aren't qualifying, it feels like you're still going to be starting front mid-pack, and that's probably the worst place to be. So I kind of question the decision a little bit if that's what they're going for, but I mean, I would probably stay a little bit further back at the beginning. I mean, no reason to be in that first big accident, and you know you've got that pit stop coming at some point. So I feel like just kind of hanging back and keeping your nose clean at the beginning and not showing your hand is probably the best bet, but I know dang well most of the field is not going to do that.
Yeah, currently about 8 cars have set times currently, and about another 2 more are looking to take times before this race is over, or qualifying is over with, which is about 30 seconds. So we'll have 10 cars have taken times for this qualifying session. and then we will get ready to go 60 laps here around the World Center Racing. Basically, Austin, just make it to halfway, then make your pit stop is probably the best guess, given the fact if it stays green from start to finish.
Yeah, I'm sure that they'll probably run the fuel tank just about empty. I think they want to stay in the pack as long as possible. It's going to give them the most speed in terms of the pit stop cycle if they just stay with the pack as long as possible. So I think everybody's probably going to make it to just about lap, 35, 40 is probably the fuel limit in these things. I don't know off the top of my head, but that sounds about right from past experience. And I feel like we're probably going to see them go to about that point. So a little bit past halfway is probably my bet, but I also have to imagine we're going to get a relatively early caution. And from what we learned in A-Open earlier today, I think that we're probably going to come down pit road every single opportunity we have just to fill that thing full of fuel so that you can stay in that pack as long as possible.
Well, it is time to give you your starting lineup here for the B-Open race here tonight as the field gets themselves lined up onto pit road. And let's give you your starting lineup. On the pole, it is going to be the number 5 of John Jenkins in that Team Conti machine, followed by Andrew Navarro in second place. Row number 2, you will see Hunter C. Johnson with Michael Chobach in 4th position. Alex Kalonix will be in 5th, followed by Peyton Howell in the 6th position. Then it's going to be Clint Stone and Julian Valdez in 7th and 8th. Row 5 will be John Williams and Quentin Warman rounding out your top 10.
11th is going to be Brandon Schmidt with Andrew Payne lining up next to him in 12th. Brandon Hawk is starting in 13th with Joshua Dickens lining up right next to him in 14th. Row 8 is going to be headed by Charles Vasquez Jr. and Garrett Smithley is going to be starting in 16th right next to him. Ricky Udding starting in 17th with John Vanderwall in 18th. Brian Whitney in 19th. And Matty Clark is going to round out row number 10.
In 21st, you'll see Junsha Lim in 21st, followed by the Ryco Performance Machine of John Hathaway Jr. Isaiah Aves will be in the 23 machine in 23rd, followed by the 24 car of Dylan Murcott in 24th position. Dylan Schwallenberg is in 25th, followed by Chris Frost in 26th position for the Outlier Speedco Company Chevrolet. And riding shotgun in the field is the Nitro Racing Michael B. Allard in the number 61. He'll be starting in 27th. That is your starting lineup here. 27 cars, 60 laps. Everyone's out there on the track, getting ready to be led by the pace car. Let's take a look at the weather. It is a very comfortable day here in Daytona Beach. Currently, it is 76 degrees air temp, 78 degrees track temp, and it's going to be a little bit windy. Winds coming out of the southeast at about 8 miles an hour. So it's going to be a little bit interesting to see how this will play out as drivers now exit off of pit road behind Benny, the pace car driver.
Gosh. A lot of these guys don't even have their right front tire touching the ground. Obviously not at speed yet, so that's going to change whenever they get some air on the front of the nose, but a little crazy seeing them coming out of pit road. Kind of getting an idea of what they're going for. Trying to get every little aerodynamic advantage they can in these setups. Obviously watching the B-Open series here tonight, 60 laps. To my producer, if I had to bet why our lap counter was off by 1, it's probably because it starts at -1.
As field works their way through here, we'll get a quick look at the different angles here at the Speedway as the drivers work their way out of turn number 2. And there we go. We got a better angle to see what's going on here as they head down the Daytona Superstretch. A couple of new things we're trying out here at GridVision. A new software, a new system, new graphics. So please bear with us here for our first eNASCAR jitters, I'd have to say, for tonight.
Yeah, I can tell you they look good whenever they're working right, and we're going to get them working right. They look really, really good. So bear with us.
So as field will work their way down the Daytona Superstretch, this is where we saw a lot of great action. This is where we almost saw the big haul from a couple of drivers till they came through turn 3 and 4, and chaos kind of ensued that allowed drivers such as Parker White to take home the checkered flag in the A-Open race that happened a few minutes ago.
Yeah, and I think we're going to get just as good of a race here tonight in the second race. I mean, I love the racing the B cars put on. I think a lot of people think it's a little bit more traditional. It feels a little bit more accurate to what the super speedways are, at least from the A car. I mean, the A car is so dramatically different. I feel like the B cars, what you would expect from a super speedway car, and I think we're going to get a heck of a race here from these guys here in the B Open race.
Well, we're happy to have you with us for part 2 of Monday Night Racing presented by Ryco Performance. Benny the pace car driver makes the hard left turn down onto pit road. Barney the flag man has the green flag in hand, and we are racing for the second time here tonight at Daytona. Cars already getting wound up, ready to go racing as Jenkins and Johnson lead the front row as they get themselves double file down into turn 1.
Yeah, that inside line started a little bit more packed up, but oh man, as they get down to turn 1, a couple people jumping from that outside line. It looked like they were actually going to get a good head of steam through 1 and 2, but all of a sudden getting down into the corner, just about everybody dips down to the inside of the racetrack, all but 3, and left that outside groove here up at the front. We got one Ryco Performance Mustang dropping out to the back of the field, playing a little bit of strategy here early. Surprised to see not a couple more people doing that with how few people qualified, but seems like it is getting a little spread out in the back of the pack.
Just a little bit, but they're gathering themselves back up here, and now it is John Jenkins who will lead them out of turn number 4. But here comes a big run right now from the rest of the field. The 7 of Michael Chobrock is now getting a big push as he tries to work his way through across the start-finish line. John Jenkins will lead lap number 1 here at Daytona. Yeah,
Hunter Johnson giving him a huge shove on the inside of the racetrack, but Chobrock is getting a bigger push from the 3 of Howell on the outside there through the tri-oval. On the exit, it looked like the 72 was going to get a massive run. It just kind of died out getting down into turn 1. The inside line is just a little bit more hooked up as the 88 actually dips out, dropping throughout the pack. That's Johnson bailing out early. He thinks it is just a little bit too early to be pushing that hard. Man, Howell is just squeezing his way in. Sorry, I thought we were about to get a huge incident going down into turn 3. Just enough of a hole for Howell in front of tomorrow.
Yeah, it was a Team Conti 1-2. Now it's got Mallon back out. Alex Kalanick, who races in the eNASCAR College iRacing Series quite often. He's now trying to lead the charge here in second place, trying to get John Jenkins a little bit of breathing room as the rest of the field tries to gather themselves up. And you see now starting to break up into little packs as we now have some 3-wide action up at the top of the line here. We're going to see the 20 machine of Brandon Schmidt lead the charge on the outside lane.
It just kind of died out on the exit at 2. He's still committed out to the outside, though. The 93 coming up to give him a push. Still committed on the outside all the way on the top of the racetrack, kind of leaving out these 2 in the middle lane. It'll be interesting to see if the 72 commits. The 72 does commit with the 12, and then the 12 bails out on him, leaving the 72 out to dry. Going back, Trobrock did not get any help there from the 12. Coming through turns 3 and 4, Jenkins still leading the way.
Jenkins tries to lead the charge as they come through, and how about this 3-wide through the tri-oval as they try to gather themselves back up, but it's going to be Brandon Schmidt who will lead the lap as they come across the line heading off into turn 1.
Yeah, Schmidt leading the way down into turn 1, ducks down to the inside of the racetrack in front of John Jenkins, ditches the 93, but the 93's got help from behind. That outside line is going to stay strong. They're missing a couple members after the 3rd car, but I got to think a couple guys behind them are starting to get a little bit racier, starting to draft up to the front of that pack a little bit. I think that outside line is going to continue to get huge shoves. And now the 93, as I say it, Andrew Payne on the outside of the racetrack getting a huge shove from the 64.
It's a Team Conti 1, 2, 3 on the top side. It's Payne, then it's Velasquez, and then it's Michael Chobrock who leads that outside lane with big help, followed by, of course, on the inside lane, it is going to be Brandon Schmidt with help from John Jenkins and Alex Kalanick as those 3 try to work together and try to keep, if they can stay ahead of the outside lane, but so far to no avail. Meanwhile, Andrew Payne dives to the bottom of the racetrack. He will take over the race lead.
It's interesting so far every time that somebody gets cleared, they go to the inside lane, but it seems like the outside line actually has a little bit more momentum and you can carry a little bit more speed. And I feel like if you could control the top side of the racetrack, you might be able to control this race in the early going, at least, it seems. And I feel like it would only get a little bit stronger as the race runs on. As the tires wear a little bit, it'll be a little bit harder to hold that inside and keep as much speed. Not much, but a little bit. And I feel like that can help the outside line. I'm surprised to see everybody just kind of duck down to the inside and cover off.
Now, we saw in the A-Open race there, Austin, where at certain points the outside lane was the dominant and everyone would go to the top line and just start logging laps. Here right now, with how these cars are set up, it's best that the inside lane is preferred line at the moment. The outside lane, when you do get a good enough momentum, you see it working out strong. But once they get up in front of the leader, they like to dive it down to the bottom of the racetrack, so keep an eye on seeing who will play their card out. Big wiggle right there from Brandon Schmidt, gathers it back up. He'll stay tucked up behind your race leader, Andrew Payne, as they'll go side by side. The race lead, Charles Velasquez Jr. leads the charge. He tries to get a run on the race lead. Not going to work this time. Stays tucked up behind.
Yeah, Velasquez gets to the outside, coming out at turn number 4, Trobach, giving him a huge shove in the 72. This is what I'm talking about. The inside line has so many more cars, and the outside line is able to keep such a head of momentum. Huge runs off the corner every single time, keeping the 64 side by side with the 93. Velasquez able to make it work. Looks like he might be able to clear Payne coming off of turn 2.
Velasquez has a good run so far. Payne's, though, keeping it strong on the inside lane. Then you have the driver, Brandon Schmidt, right there giving him a big push with help from John Jenkins as they head down the Daytona super stretch. Everyone just trying to jockey for position. How about this? The car that started 27th, Michael B. Allard in the 61, he's now inside the top 10.
Yeah, you can tell that there's two very different mindsets. Two very different strategies. We've got all the guys willing to race, risk their race cars here in the early going, not really giving a crap. And then you've got everybody else sitting in the back. And I feel like that's more of a testament to we've only got about 12 cars really racing for it right now. And everybody else is just kind of biding their time.
Yeah, everyone's having on different strategies of how comfortable they feel being at certain points of the race in certain positions. And right now you see our front runners who want to try to take charge early at the front of the field. Everyone else just biding their time, trying to see how this race will play out in their favor as it progresses.
Andrew Payne almost just got turned off at turn number 2. That's going to give a huge, huge head of momentum to the outside line. And Velasquez, as soon as he gets cleared, pulls down to that inside line, takes the race lead away from Andrew Payne and takes that dominant line like you've been talking about. But I still feel like it's only going to be a matter of time before Trobach gets a huge run and a huge push from Vanderwall to shove him to the lead. And as soon as I say that, he ducks down to the inside and actually just takes over the 4th place position. And the outside line is kind of disintegrated.
Yeah, right now John Vanderwall in the 16 machine is trying to see if he can do anything. He's got help from Matty D. Clark, and just as we say that, Brandon Schmidt goes to the outside lane. He's going to try to see if he can pull the rest of the drivers behind him up to the front of the field. And now here comes Chobach. He'll now go to the outside lane to see if he can lead this race.
And that's going to give the outside line a huge shove. They've only got 2 on the inside groove. Jenkins not quite up to the back bumper of Payne yet, but the 20 really couldn't get sucked up to Trobach on the outside groove. I thought he was going to get up there a little bit quicker, be able to shove him into turn number 3. Was not quite able to do it. They still got a little run coming through the corner, and you might be able to get a little side drop put off to Andrew Payne here on the inside of the racetrack coming out of 4. But I don't know if it's going to be enough of a head of steam to get side by side with Velasquez or pass him.
So far, not going to work out in their favor. It's now going to be Velasquez who holds on to the race lead for the time being. But here comes Chobach as he tries to work his way up to the top side with help from Brandon Schmidt. Side by side for the race lead as they come out of 2.
Velasquez, Trobach, like you said, side by side, out of 2. Racing for the race lead. Hard racing here in the early going. Actually, on lap number 10, have not seen a single bit of single file at the front. The 72, Trobach trying to take the race lead on the outside with a huge shove from Schmidt going down into turn number 3. Now separated both lanes, just a little bit between the bumpers, not quite able to give the front lane a shove. Got to save that engine too. There's a lot of overheating here in the B cars. You got to be very, very careful with it. Schmidt all over the back bumper, just separates a little bit from the 72.
Everyone now separated now as they try to work their way through, but Velasquez has trouble behind the field. Big issues as the big one happens here involving the 16 machine and several other drivers. John Vanderwall involved in this one.
Yeah, it looked like Matty Clark made a move to the outside of Vanderwall, tried to make it 3 wide coming out of the tri-oval, and Vanderwall drifted up a little bit. I couldn't quite tell if Clark came down. We're definitely going to have to get a replay, but it was definitely kind of the catalyst between those 2 drivers. A couple of evasive maneuvers coming through. I couldn't quite tell who it was, but somebody was sliding through that accident and was able to avoid everybody. Tough break, though, for the 16.
Yeah, Matty D. Clark also involved in this one as we look through some of the drivers who got involved in that. Brandon Hawk in the 53 machine, as we'll take a look here at the replay. There you see the 16. Could have been just a bad bump from him in the 31. Nope. 16 tried to go up the track. 31 was there, and chaos ensued. Ooh, the 25 also getting collected up, and then that's Dylan Schwellenberg involved in the incident as well. So about 3 to 4 cars involved.
Tough break in the early going, but I feel like most of everybody should be coming down pit road, taking a full tank of gas. I feel like that's probably the strategy everybody will want to go for. Take as little amount of time in the box under green. Coming to catch the safety car right now going into turn number 3, so gonna have a little bit of time before this pit stop cycle.
They'll work their way down behind Benny, the pace car driver, for the first time under caution situations after the start of the race. And looking through the field right now, they will catch him in the middle of 3 and 4, as we'll see who decides to come down pit road. Any strategies as far as 2 tires, no tires, or 4 tires. So early on, I don't see anyone really taking tires during this stage of the race, but you never know.
I mean, it just kind of makes sense so you don't have to take them later, but I don't know. It really doesn't matter too much on the super speedways. You're not giving up too much, but I would rather take them early so you don't have to sit longer in the box later in the race if you, for some reason, need them.
Absolutely, as the field makes their way towards pit entrance, none of our top leaders decide to come down pit road. In fact, the first driver to come down is Alex Kalonix in the X22 machine. He'll lead the rest of the field down pit road as everyone else decides to come down. So pretty much your top 5 staying out.
I'm guessing the top 5 are hoping for another caution before the pit stop. I mean, they've got to be at this point, but I feel like they're thinking it's going to happen. I mean, we have not even seen most of the field race, right? We only saw a pack of about 12 cars that were really kind of pushing it. So I feel like as soon as the rest of the pack kind of gets up and gets racing, we're going to see another caution. It's just, is that going to happen before the green flag pit stop cycle?
Could be very interesting to see here as they come off of pit road. Alex Kalonix will win the race off pit road. Michael Allard, Ricky Utting, and then Andrew Navarro and Julian Valdez rounding out your top 5 off of pit road as they will catch up to the tail end of the field here at Daytona. Under caution here for the first time here tonight. We'll go take a quick commercial break, but when we come back, we'll bring you more action here for Ryco Performance Monday.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to GridVision's coverage of the Ryco Performance Monday Night Top Split here at Daytona. Taylor Burris here along with Austin Edstrom and Austin Derbyshire. We're back green flag racing here at Daytona, and a little bit of a slow start as the rest of the field is kind of backed up a little bit as they come through the middle of the tri-oval. Everyone was down towards the bottom of the racetrack already before they took the green flag there, but they're going to get themselves up to speed as they rocket their way through turns 1 and 2.
Yeah, that inside line got the better start, but it kind of allowed the outside line to get formed up a little bit better. They were a little slower to get through the gears, and now they're coming with a head of steam off of turn number 2. The 72 of Trobach with a huge push from Schmidt on the outside of the racetrack, easily going by Velasquez right here, coming down into turn number 3, just about clearing him.
Field now works their way through the back straightaway, heading into turn 3 and 4, climbing that 31 degrees of banking. How about Trobach having a great run with help from the number 20 machine of Brandon Schmidt, Michael Howard as well out there on the top side of the racetrack as the field starts to come across the line. 15 laps on the board as they cross the line. Everyone trying to jockey for position as your pole sitter, John Williams, trying to work his way up through the field, and John Jenkins right there as well inside the top 5.
Man, we can still really see the differing strategies. I mean, everybody from about 12th on back is just so content with riding, maybe even 10th on back. But everybody up front is still racing like it's the last lap. All 5 that stayed out and didn't take gas are just committed to pushing the entire way and running for this race lead. The 72 of Trobach going to the race lead with a push from Schmidt in the 20. Both of them actually get clear going down into turn 3.
Field now working their way through the middle of the corner, and here comes a big run by Velasquez Jr. as they get their way to the top of the racetrack. There you see the 93 of Andrew Payne gets a big push, but not going to work this time as they cross the line.
Trobach going to take the lead this time by big push from Schmidt in the 20, able to get him clear. But this is finally the first time that I've seen somebody commit to the outside. Every time we've seen somebody get up there, they have just completely cleared themselves down to the inside. This time the 72 stays loyal to the outside to his pusher Schmidt in the 20. But now it's kind of hurting them as they go through 1 and 2. He loses a little bit of ground, but it looks like they're going to gain it all back down the backstretch.
Field now works their way through side by side. Trobach has a great run as he now leads the charge. Velasquez on the inside. A little bit of communication between the 3 Team Conti drivers as they're trying to just see how they can play this out, because if you think about it, they're the Pied Pipers of this group in this race. They're holding strong, trying to make sure to prevent anyone else from making a run around them at this point of the race.
That's a great point. Trobach could really just be committed to that outside just so that they lead both lanes. I think that he's probably seeing the same thing where the outside line just clears no matter what, and he's just staying committed up there because he doesn't want to lose that advantage. He doesn't want to give somebody else an opportunity to clear the entirety of Team Conti. And once you're stuck on the inside like that, it can be really tough to get back to the outside or get a couple team cars to the outside and push. So I think that they just don't want to be stuck down there 1 through 4 on the inside.
Yeah, a really smart move by them right now as they work their way through around the circuit, keeping an eye on a couple of other drivers here. How about Garrett Smithley, NASCAR Xfinity Series driver, running in 11th position. He's just about to break into the top 10 here, but is trying to be a little bit patient, seeing what things will work out in his favor. Keep an eye on that number 4 machine as he gets a bit of a tow from John Williams in the number 5 as they come across the line. He's got help from Isaiah Aves in the 23rd and 12th position.
John Williams right ahead, holding on to that 10th place position. I still feel like, I mean, these guys are just content. They're seeing these guys race really hard up at the front of the field, just kind of hanging on, and they're like, I think I'm just going to lag back and be at the very back of this so I can react to it first and not get stuck in the big train behind me. I think that I kind of like the places that Smithley, Williams, Navarro, I kind of like where they're at. The first couple cars, single file, able to make a move if something goes awry in front of them, not too far back where they might get arc or brake. The 72 still holding on to that outside groove again, not decommitting from the outside, not jumping down to help the Team Conti teammate on the inside. Send to the outside so that they can control both lanes.
Coming up now to about a third of the race completed, 20 laps completed, it's going to be about 40 laps to go for your drivers here. So at least one more pit stop is in the plans for these drivers before this race is said and done.
Oh yeah, absolutely have to take one more pit stop. Most drivers came down and pit under that caution period on lap 13. So there's a couple guys in here that are a little bit shorter than everybody else. And if this thing runs green to the end, I really think that they're the ones that are hurt. And that's a couple of these Team Conti guys. Finally, Trobach ducks down to the inside. But it is another Team Conti teammate right behind him. So he could have just been dropping off to the inside line to give him a little bit more clean air. And actually, he's able to clear to the race lead. Also, the 20 of Schmidt.
Yeah, Brandon Schmidt is also another driver. He'll drop down to the bottom of the racetrack, leaving Michael Allard leading the charge on the outside with the Nitro Racing machine. no help whatsoever. He's got a whole little bit of ways to wait before he can get any help. He will fall back further, as it's a Team Conti 1 through 6 on the bottom lane.
Yeah, the 61's just going to have to hope that he can find a hole. I mean, he's got a helper with Garrett Smithley coming out to the outside, but I don't know if 2 cars are even going to be enough, right? I mean, that outside line could just be dead in the water if nobody else wants to take it. And most people look relatively content with riding where they're at.
Everyone is pretty much content, and as I say that, here comes the 9 machine as they work their way through. That, of course, is Joshua Dickens right there at the top of the line.
Yeah, they were looking for content for a while, but of course, the 9 changed that. Then Dickens comes out to the outside groove to lead it, and actually we've got some pit stops cycling through already. Surprised to see them all dip out. There's 6 or 7 cars coming down pit road.
Drivers trying to jockey and get under pace speed here as they try to work, but that was Alex Kalonix, Clint Stone, Julian Valdez, the 3 machine of Peyton Howell, and the 44 machine of Andrew Navarro.
I mean, that tells me they can definitely make it from here, but I would be a little bit worried that they're not going to be as fast as everybody else, because these are a couple of big packs right here that have been content with riding almost single file. So I feel like they're going to be a good bit quicker than these 6 or so cars that just came down pit road. I'm a little curious about this strategy. We saw it be the exact opposite in A Open, where everybody ran as long as possible. So this is one to watch.
Absolutely, this is going to be one to watch indeed here.
Well,
That's the 93, and everybody is now starting to make their way down onto pit road. Michael Alliard will lead the charge, but everyone else a little further back comes down pit road to try to get some service done and make sure they can make it to the end.
Really interesting that it's the complete flip from A Open. I thought the strategies would be relatively similar, being NASCAR vehicles at a super speedway, but we're seeing it be a little bit different here tonight, and that's going to help out everybody that stayed out. I mean, this could be a little bit of the, I don't know, I guess an outcome because of that, right? I mean, the couple people staying out have kind of caused a couple teams to change their pit strategy for them. I don't know. I'm just really shocked to see everybody come down a little bit early in this one. Instead of running out to lap 40, we could have seen a couple of guys just get eliminated from this race, but everybody just kind of content to come down in the early going on this one.
Everyone's going to be seeing how this will play out. Will our race leaders come down pit road? Alliard, Smithley, Dickens, Frost, Udding, Schwallenberg, Lim, and Aves deciding to stay out, along with Hathaway, Quinton, Hauk. Pretty much everyone right here from about the top 15 is now where Hunter C. Johnson is the first car that has come down pit road recently. Everyone else ahead of him has yet to come down pit road since that incident. As Alliard's asking, is anyone wanting to come down pit road this next time by?
I feel like if these guys get hooked up and just run good laps in these couple main packs, if they just stay single file, I feel like they could run faster overall lap times than everybody else. If they, I don't know, it kind of hurts that they haven't been lined up already the last couple laps, but the time that it takes for these other packs to get together, well, as soon as I say that, of course, everybody else comes down. Every time I say something, everything opposite has happened immediately after. It's been an insane night.
Well, a couple of drivers decided to stay out for you right there. You're at least your top 4, make it top 5 now. So Schwallenberg, Aves, Halfway, Norman, and Hauk decide to stay out for this time around as they try to see if they can stay out in case a caution were to come into play before this is all said and done.
I think that's just too little at this point, though. It's only 5 cars that are still out in the main pack. I mean, they're not going to be anywhere fast enough to do anything for that. So I feel like at this point, you're kind of missing out if you don't come down. So, of course, now that I say that, it's going to be the exact opposite, and they're going to stay out. But I just don't see it. I think everybody that has stayed out is probably going to come out down this time by, or within the next couple laps. You're going to have to watch a couple of these Ryco cars coming off the turn 4. Yeah, they're all coming down pit road. So that's going to be the green flag cycle all done, except for Isaiah Aves, who has decided to stay out on the racetrack, I guess to get a lap led. I'm not too sure.
Don't know either, but an interesting strategy for Isaiah Aves. Apparently he may be missing miscommunication as we have 2 DNFs, Garrett Smithley and Matty D. Clark, out of the race. So don't know what happened to Garrett Smithley. Try to see if we can get some information. Oh, Garrett Smithley had an issue coming off of pit road. He looped it around coming up on the apron. I don't know if we can get a replay of that, but he'll loop it around coming off the pit exit, and that will end his night. There it is right there on the replay. Tough break there for Garrett Smithley.
Yeah, I just decided to call it quits at that point, and I don't blame him. He would be lapping all by himself for the next 30 minutes, just hoping to pray for a caution for everybody single file. So I feel like it's probably the smart call. Finally seeing our race leader, 2023, coming down pit road. Looks a little sketchy on the break there, but holding his sides coming down. Gonna be the last guy on the racetrack though, and I just feel like that's gonna hurt him so bad. He's gonna be dead in the water, way slower than everybody else coming out. But we do have 2 different separated packs. Howell leading pack number 1, gonna be leading the race. And then we've got a second pack, a good ways back, but these are the guys that pitted under that first round of pit stops, I believe. So doing the exact opposite of A Open seems to be the move here in B Open tonight.
Yeah, coming up on now halfway here in a couple of laps, but it is now Peyton Howell, Andrew Navarro, and Julian Valdez, your top 3, some of the first drivers that came down on that first group of pit stops as they lead the charge. Currently, they have about a 1.7 second lead over a second group led by Joshua Dickens, and then another 3 seconds back, you'll see the drivers of Ricky Utting with his group of cars as the rest of the field works their way through.
You got to think that third pack is going to catch the little second pack of 2 to boost their numbers a little bit. I don't think that second pack is going to run down the main pack unless they're just barely sniffing the draft. They look to be gaining a little bit through 3 and 4, so it could be happening. But I imagine that third pack is going to run down our second pack and grow in numbers a little bit. And I think we're going to get one pretty big pack here coming out of green flag pit stops, which is a pretty rare sight to see. You know, we kind of got lucky in the A Open. It got up to about 10 or 11 cars there coming to the checkered. I think we're going to see just about double that.
Absolutely, we're going to see that here as the field gets themselves situated, a little more organized here, as drivers are trying to knock themselves up through a couple of positions. As I say that, they're going to go 3 wide down the Daytona super stretch.
Yeah, they're just going to slow themselves down. That's real nice.
Hunter C. Johnson caught in the sucker hole, as Gerald Walsh would say, and now we'll finally find an opening to get to the bottom of the racetrack.
And that second group has actually caught the first group. They were just in draft range and have run them all the way down. And that front group's actually going to get a little bit bigger, and they're going to be single file, while this second group is still fighting back there, going 3 wide coming off of turn number 2. Gotta think that's just hurting their speed at this point. They gotta settle down a little bit, find a groove, and everybody just get in a single file line and run down the main pack.
Absolutely, everyone's getting themselves now a little bit more organized. Peyton Howell still holds the race lead. They have a 3-second lead over the top from 8th on back, so they got a little bit of work to do, but they are making quick work, as there you see your top 8 right there leading the bottom of the racetrack, trying to just stay ahead and make sure they can maintain the gap for the stage.
They've got a pretty good gap at this point, but I really think the action is in that second pack. They're 3 wide going into turn number 3. I'm very shocked they're not settling down and just trying to catch the main pack, but instead they're just content with fighting for about 8th place, it seems. They don't really want to get to the checkered flag and win the race. They're just fighting back here for 8. The 7, Jenkins on the outside right now, 3 wide, leading that pack.
Everyone's just trying to jockey around for position, as there you see the 9 of Dickens and Alliard, and here comes the angry pack of Jenkins and Payne as they come out of turn number 2. They're going to try to make short work of the 2 drivers that they're trying to close up on quickly.
I just can't believe that they're not just chilling. I mean, they could catch this lead pack so quickly. They're not even losing that much time being side by side, but they are just content with fighting each other. Another 2 drivers ducking down to the inside groove, but it's still going to be side by side for about 3rd in that pack. They're really just killing themselves at this point.
And it seems to be the case here. They got to find a way to get a little more organized if they want to have a chance of taking the fight to your race leaders here. Not a lot of time left, still about halfway completed, but it's still a lot of things can happen between now and then, as Peyton Howell and Andrew Navarro just being comfortable, not wanting to push the envelope, as well as the rest of the drivers in this group.
So the second group is finally calming down a little bit. We've just got 2 cars on the outside, maybe giving them an opportunity now. Only 1 car is still stuck out there. So we've got an opportunity here with the second pack. They've only lost 0.5 of a second since we were like kind of last really gap watching. They were down to 3 seconds. They've raised it back up to 3.5 through all the fighting. And now they are finally single file. They did not even lose that much time. So they should be absolutely rapid and running down this main pack. The only problem is, does the main pack add lap cars at some point? I mean, they could definitely catch some slower lap traffic and give themselves a little bit higher numbers coming to the end of this thing.
Well, the drivers that they are closing in on quickly will have to be probably John Vanderwall, who is coming up pretty soon. And then, of course, the driver of Isaiah Aves, who currently they're coming out of turn 2 now. Aves is on the back straightaway heading into 3. So I say it's not much longer before those catch up to him.
Yeah, but that second pack is starting to run them down. They just caught them 4/10. This is what we were talking about, though. Like, they should have been doing this earlier. They could have been in a fight for the lead, but they just couldn't get out of their own heads. I mean, they've run them down really quickly over the course of just 1 lap. 4/10 of a second. Coming down to under 3 seconds. to that first pack now. Actually 2.5 on the back, because you really got to look at the last car in that pack. I mean, they can run this thing down in absolutely no time and have a fighting chance at the win.
Absolutely. Here as we watch the field now jockey around for position. They're closing in on some lap traffic as they work their way down into turn 3 and 4. Or 1 and 2, I should say. My apologies on that, as now everyone gets themselves situated. And here comes the hard charge of Andrew Payne leading that second group. And they're really coming down, barreling down on your top 7.
Yeah, they didn't pick up quite as much time here through 1 and 2, but the last 2 laps, they've cut it down 0.8 of a second. I don't know quite what happened at the beginning of this lap, but just a little bit of a shake-up in the back of that pack might have caused just a little bit of a slowdown, but now they're lined back up, nose to tail all the way through, and they've cut it down another 1/10.5. They are absolutely running down that main pack, and we've still got half the race left. I mean, we're just barely past halfway, taking lap number 34. Remember, our ticker's about 1.5 off. It's a little strange, but we've got about 27 laps to go at this point, and they've got plenty of time.
To give you an idea of how fast the second group is going, your leader, Peyton Howell, last time by a 46.708. Andrew Payne, leader of that second group, a 46.433. So they are definitely closing in. They're now down to 2.4 seconds.
Let's go. This is going to be a heck of a race for the finish. I cannot wait to get these 2 packs converged onto each other. Hopefully everybody can make it on gas. I'd get a little bit sketched out for some of these guys leading the packs. Andrew Payne, maybe a couple of the guys that were fighting in the second pack earlier. And then, of course, Peyton Howell at the front of the first pack, because I know that first pack pitted before everybody else. I'd be a little bit worried if I was a couple of these guys. They might have to do a little bit of fuel saving in the later going, but currently that main pack is not looking like they're going to slow down one bit. They're trying to stay ahead of that second pack, trying to run decent lap times, but that second pack is getting faster and faster every single lap. The leader finally ran his fastest lap just last lap, 0.4 of a second quicker, but it was still not enough. Still lost 0.4 to that second pack.
Yeah, let's just say a 46.6 for your race leader, a 46.2 for the drivers in the top 2, in 8th and 9th position. So a big difference, 1.6 seconds separates them.
Coming through 3 and 4, the 93 is firmly within the draft now. I mean, they've got the one straggler lap car there, that the last car to pit in the 23. Unfortunately, lost the draft completely. That's Isaiah Aves. Just moving out of the way, but he gave a good slipstream here to the second pack and to give them an even bigger head of steam. And now we're starting to see a little bit of discombobulation in the first pack. Your 2 cars are not content anymore. They're going side by side. They want to get a little bit closer to the front so that whenever this all goes down, they can be a little bit better off from it.
Absolutely, here and here they come. Could we see 3 wide action? It's now up to 2 wide for your race leaders as the 22 machine of Alex Kalanick will lead the middle lane, but now we're going to have a third lane. Here comes the 93 of Andrew Payne. Now he gets the block thrown on him. It's now down to a 2 car. Here comes Allier. He'll form the third lane. Trouble for the 12. He'll back off and lose time. That's Valdez who will lose control. Gathers it back up. No caution as he stays below the yellow line. Joins the racetrack finally. Close call indeed, but Alex Kalanick will lead the charge heading on to 1.
Yeah, Kalanick on the outside. Huge move from the 93, but Kalanick blocks it off from Allard and Payne there on the outside groove. Able to take the lead on the outside. Oh, lap car getting in the way from Howell there on the inside. Little bit of contact. I think that Howell came off clean, but oh, another 3 wide move from Andrew Payne trying to get to the inside of Dickens. Not quite able to get there.
Lap car ahead of the field as they enter into turn 3 and 4, and close call indeed. They're going to stay close, but as so far everyone keeps it clean as they come out of turn number 4. Andrew Navarro in the 44 leads the charge. Dickens, Payne's your top 3 as they come across the line.
I've said it before, but it's like 2 galaxies colliding whenever 2 packs come together like that, racing for the race lead, coming down to the end of one of these things. Still 23 laps to go at this point, but you can tell that everybody is heated up. They're fired up and ready to go, trying to get to the front. This is kind of go time at this point. You can't really look back. Everybody is gunning for it. Coming through 1 and 2, the 93 of Payne on the outside, trying to get that race lead away from Andrew Navarro. Navarro fights back on the inside through 3 and 4, able to take the race lead back away. Coming through the corner, big shove from the 9 of Joshua Dickens. But Dickens jumps out to the outside in front of Andrew Payne, trying to take the race lead back away from Navarro, coming to the stripe. Looks like the 9's going to lead that lap, but only by a hair. 22 laps to go here at Daytona. Navarro trying to fight back on that inside line with a shove from the 3. Just looks like the outside line's a little bit stronger, but Dickens jumps down to the inside line as he gets clear. Andrew Payne now leads that outside groove.
Payne is now working, but Dickens is having a strong run on the inside lane. Here comes Andrew Payne. Navarro gets bobbled up. He's got to gather it back up as he now tries to get himself back in the line. That's going to cause the whole inside lane to break apart. And now Andrew Payne, new race leader, as now Alliard leads the outside. Now we're going to see Payne try to play blocking, defensive, keeping the 2 lanes behind him.
Yeah, that could be the Team Conti block both lanes, win the race strategy here coming to the stripe. Coming to 21 to go. Andrew Payne on the outside. Velasquez Jr. on the inside with a shove from Dickens. Allard in the 61 on the outside, running about as good as he has all day. Trying to maybe push Payne to the race lead, but I don't think Payne's going to clear him down and allow Allard to lead that line. But Dickens might just clear himself here for second.
He's going to try to. So far, he will clear himself for the second spot. Now he'll tuck to the outside. Payne tries to give him a push, but now Velasquez Jr. now has to be a little patient as here comes Navarro with a big push. A little bit of a checkup there on the inside lane, which allows Dickens to make sure he holds the outside for the moment as they come out of 3.
Yeah, Dickens leading the charge on the outside groove. Not quite enough to hold the lead coming out of turn number 4. They're going to get a little run on the inside, but it's not really going to be enough to get him by the stripe. 20 to go. You can tell it's heating up. These guys are absolutely gunning for it. Nobody is settling down. Everybody in this main pack, top 15 cars, all under a blanket, running for this race lead. Dickens leading the charge on the outside. Velasquez on the inside. It's getting a little hairy on the outside, though. Payne, Allard, oh, a little sideways on the inside. Velasquez, Navarro getting turned down on the inside of the racetrack. Multiple drivers around into the outside wall. The caution flag is out.
The big one strikes again here at Daytona and takes out a lot of the big heavy hitters that we saw leading the charge at the front of the field. It just comes to show you nowhere is safe here at Daytona.
Happened right at the front of the field. I thought the issue was going to be on the outside groove. They were getting a little nervy out there. And as soon as that happened, Velasquez gets turned sideways on the inside. Couldn't quite tell how bad the contact was. It felt like it was such a minor issue, but it ended up being a huge one. Because of it happening at the front of the field, just takes out about half those cars we were just talking about that were driving really, really hard for this thing. But it does bring in a couple others that had lost the draft.
Take a look here at the instant replay of the situation at hand. There you see the driver. There's a bad push between Navarro and Velasquez Jr. The entire outside lane almost gets away scot-free for your top 3 rows. And then chaos pursues behind as several drivers get collected up in it. Some of the big ones that we saw, the 20 machine involved in that one. Ricky Utting has some damage. Isaiah Aves as well. John Hathaway Jr. has some damage. The 9, Joshua Dickens, well, he gets away scot-free, no issues. But Brandon Schmidt, one of your front runners, severe damage to the rear end and the nose of that number 20.
Yeah, it's going to take out a lot of contenders. There was a lot of guys that were just kind of content riding at the back of that pack, at the back of that top 15. And it seemed like all of them are the ones that kind of got caught up in that the worst. So kind of a tough break for those guys that were just kind of taking it easy.
Well, we're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we will bring you more action here at the World Center of Racing at Daytona. You're watching the Ryco Performance Monday Night Top Split here on Grid.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to the Ryco Performance Monday Night Top Split here at Daytona International Speedway, part 2 of our amazing broadcast that we have here today. We had the NASCAR A Open race at Daytona to kick off the action here tonight. Now we're finishing up with the B Open racing here, and this is just 2 of the several races that we will have here at Daytona International Speedway throughout our version of Speed Weeks. Of course, tomorrow night we'll have the Champions Power Equipment Trek Series head off to the World Center Racing at Daytona. And then on Friday night, it is the Ryco Performance Friday Night Top Split, where we take on the Daytona 500 for the NASCAR iRacing Series official Open Series. And we'll look forward to having all that coverage throughout the week. So stay tuned through all of GridVision's platforms as we bring you the exciting coverage of the virtual world of NASCAR here on GridVision, as the drivers now doubled up, ready to go back. Green flag racing here, coming up to just about 15 laps to go for your drivers. It is going to be Andrew Payne and John Jenkins that will lead them to the front row as they make their way into the start box. Benny, the pace car driver, will make the hard left turn down onto pit road. Bonnie, the flag man, will have the green flag ready to go once again, and it is time to turn them loose for a 15-lap dash to the finish as they enter the restart. Green flag is out. We're back at it here at Daytona.
Andrew Payne leading the way on the inside groove. Pretty even start there between the two Team Conti Performance teammates there on the front row, just kind of giving themselves an even start. I think, again, they're just playing that front lane game, and we've got so many Team Conti cars up at the front of this field. They're occupying the front 4 positions right now, 2 on the inside, 2 on the outside. I think they're playing the teammate game at this point. It's going to take a third lane from somebody to beat them.
It really seems to be the play here. It's Team Conti in your top 4 positions for the moment here as they try to hustle and jockey for positions as they head down the Daytona super stretch. It's Payne, Velasquez, Jr., John Jenkins, Dickens, Chobrock, your top 5.
Yeah, Velasquez looking a little outside, just making sure he cools off those temperatures a little bit, dipping both sides coming out of the corner, just getting a little bit of air. Still pushing his teammate Andrew Payne all the way through the tri-oval here, but still not getting out too far in front of that outside groove, allowing John Jenkins to get back out to the outside with a push from his teammate. Just able to keep these 2 lines really, really even all the way around the racetrack and not allow anybody else to get clear. They're forcing somebody to make an outside line, or else it's just going to be one of them to win this thing.
Velasquez has a great run here as they work their way down the Daytona Superstretch. Here, Jenkins trying to work with Chobrock to get his way up to the front of the field. Joshua Dickens also in the hunt, as here comes Michael Halyard right there in that top lane as well, trying to see if they can get it going. So far, everyone's just trying to push their way. As you see, one of the Ryco machines in the sim seat number 84, that's Quentin Warman.
Couple new names kind of showing themselves here at the end of this thing. It's finally go time. They know that this is kind of where you got to be at this point. You're not going to go from 20th to 1st here in a couple laps. You got to find yourself up to the front of the field with a chance to win this thing. That big action has already happened, taking out a ton of your competitors. Got to get up to the front. Last 13 laps, whenever we take the stripe next time by, coming down onto the back straightaway. Payne still leading the way as John Jenkins is on the outside.
Here comes another couple of other drivers jockeying around for position. Here comes the premier drivers that are also in the mix there. The 12 machine of Julian Valdez, who we just saw spinning through the grass a few laps ago. He's now back in the hunt inside the top 10 as they work their way out through the middle of turn 3 and 4. Sun continuously setting here at Daytona, the Sunshine State, as they'll go 2 by 2 across the line here at Daytona. 47 laps on the board. Coming up here in a few moments, we'll be getting to 10 to go.
Jenkins making that outside line work through the trial a little bit. Still, those team games going on up front, not allowing anybody to make a move. Team Conti Sim Performance dominating the way up front. A couple Ryco guys starting to line up there on the bottom row, though, as you were talking about earlier with Williams. I think a couple of them are starting to kind of game plan. Oh, yellow flag's out. Can't quite tell where the accident happened. I think it's got to be somewhere off on the front straightaway.
Trying to see what has happened of who had this issue came about.
Yeah, I'm very confused.
Situation.
I don't know.
It looks like maybe something with Hunter Johnson.
Yeah, coming out of pit road, I think that somehow he caused a yellow flag by pulling hard right there. There was a car coming by, he pulled hard right. Maybe it viewed it as him spinning out in front of the field.
Interesting scenario there as we're under caution once again for that situation. We'll go back live here, and just interesting, I have to say. Never really seen anything like that before.
Sorry, I was listening to the voice chat in the sim, trying to get an explanation. But yeah, just a very strange situation, I think. Kind of a bogus caution, kind of unfortunate that it broke up that hard racing we were getting at the front of the field. Well, I say that. I mean, I would hope that it would break up the little Team Conti sandwich we got going on at the front, the domination in the front 4 positions, but they're still able to hold on to the front 4 at the time of the caution. It's going to take a miracle for somebody to get by these guys. I really do think so. I mean, they're definitely just working with big team orders at this point. I mean, maybe at the last lap they kind of all go crazy and lose it for themselves. We've seen some team meltdowns in the past for sure, but I don't know. The way they're commanding the front of this pack at this point, it's going to be a really tall order to beat one of these guys.
It really is, as the field gets themselves situated here around the circuit. It's going to be tough to see how this will play out here amongst the drivers, because this is going to be exciting. It's going to be a 10-lap shootout now. Drivers trying to get themselves situated. A couple of other drivers have pulled out from the race. Hunter Johnson and Dylan Schwallenberg out. So we're now down to 23 cars in the race, 22 on the lead lap.
We're at 11 laps to go at this point. Going to have probably, looks like we're going to have about 9 whenever we get the green flag. We've honestly been treated to 2 really good races here tonight. I mean, I don't really expect anything less from Daytona. I feel like every time we go to Daytona, we end up getting a good show. There can be some lulls in the action, some single file racing, but it always gets good at the end. And we're blessed with it all week here on GridVision. Again, like you mentioned earlier, Tuesday night, Champion Power Equipment Truck Series. Can't wait for the call there with Brian Britt and get to be able to see what happens in the Daytona 500. You know, the first time we're calling the entire 500. That's a really, really cool gig that we're putting on there on Friday nights with Ryco Performance. So big shout out to them, and thank them for letting us put on that awesome show here on this Friday night.
Absolutely, and of course we'll be bringing you every single Monday and Friday night all of the amazing, great races for the top split of the A Open event here in NASCAR and the B Open, and then of course every Friday night we'll bring you all the action for the NIS Series top split. But we still have other great series coming up. We got next week, of course, the continuation as we head to Atlanta Motor Speedway in the A, B, and NIS races. And then, of course, we have not only the Champions Power Equipment Series, but we also have the, of course, Stars eSports Championship Series and the Route 66 eSports Championship Series. Those 2 events both at either Charlotte and Road Atlanta next week. So make sure to tune in on GridVision for all the exciting action we have this coming next 2 weeks on here.
Man, even after Speed Week, we get served up with a double dose the next week of just awesomeness. Awesome to see that we can kind of fill the void of Speed Weeks that I feel like has been left now that the Clash isn't at Daytona. You know, we get to celebrate the entire week on Daytona, and you're not going to see anything but Daytona until Monday night. But it's so fun to come here every single February and be able to watch all these races virtually and for the real Daytona 500 at the end of the week. Just can't wait to see all that we've got here on GridVision this week.
Absolutely, and we're looking forward to it here, and we'll see how this all plays out as they're doubled up, ready to go. It's going to be about an 8-lap shootout when they take the green flag. Apologies once again for the timing and scoring. We're still working on a couple of things here to get situated. Hopefully for our Friday night show at Daytona for the 500, we'll have everything lined up, ready to go as we get set to go racing once again here for the B Open. As we have to say a big thank you to all of our subscribers who are following us here on GridVision. We're already up to over 500 here tonight.
Big milestone here for the channel, and on the first day of the season. I think that's a good omen. I think that looks really good. The first day of the A Open season, kind of awesome to kick off 2024 the right way.
A couple of people in the clap. We got to give a big shout out to Coach Matt here out there. 9 days till the Thunderclap series returns, and of course here at the World Center of Racing.
Yeah, we got to call a cool charity event from them a couple weeks ago here with the 24 beers of Daytona. That was a fun one we got to call there for Thunderclap and for a good cause as well. Now we're getting one more lap of green. It looks like somebody might have stopped on the racetrack.
See if we can find who was the naughty participant who decided.
Who is the culprit?
I don't know. It might be on the 26th. Oh, the 24 of Dylan Murcott had stopped and brought out the continuation of the caution. So one more time around.
Just delaying the inevitable for the big crashes at the end, the big climactic finish that we're just on the edge of our seats for. I mean, I can't wait. The 8th Open finish was phenomenal. Coming to the white flag, it all kind of kicked off. And here tonight, I don't think we're going to see anything different. I think it's going to be just about second verse, same as the first. But I think we could see some bigger moves coming out of turn number 4, even before it. I feel like the teamwork was rock solid in A Open, and we didn't see a move until they came out of turn 4. And even after that, I felt like Steven Wilson probably could have hooked his teammate of Andrew Parker on one of those blocks, but he decided to cut him a break. I don't know if we're going to see the same thing here. I know we've still got 4 team cars at the front of this field, but I've seen a lot of teams find a way to screw over teammates before, so I wouldn't be surprised to see something kind of similar here coming to the end of this one.
Absolutely here. We'll see how this all plays out before this is all said and done as the field works their way down through, once again, the back straightaway. We'll hopefully get it back going as Dickens goes down below the yellow line. See if he can get himself situated once again before we go back at it.
Well, they are complaining about everybody and their Gmail being on Team Conti. That was why Dickens went to the inside. He had to type out a little text message, maybe showing the team frustration. I mean, I'd be frustrated if I saw 4 team cars right in front of me at a super speedway. I mean, you've got no opportunity, man. You can't go anywhere. You've got to find somebody that's going to work with you and get up to that very outside groove. And I feel like the outside groove is kind of screwed in this situation because the 4th car on the outside is another Team Conti car, so he's not going to go and push whoever jumps out there.
He's not. He's going to try to stay tucked up behind his teammates as best as possible here, so we'll see what happens as they work through the middle of turn 3 and 4. Everyone hopefully is going to get themselves situated or ready to go back at it here at Daytona for a mad dash to the finish here. Let's see if we can get one just as exciting as we saw in the A Open race and keep it going here as they head off into the restart zone. Benny, the pace car driver, makes the hard left turn down onto pit road and into the restart zone. Barney the flagman has the green flag in hand. We're back at it here at Daytona, and everyone's getting a little stacked up, but they will get themselves up to speed as they head off into 1.
Yeah, they stack up a little bit at the back of the pack. 8 laps to go here. 2 Team Conti cars lined up the front row and 2 Team Conti cars in the second row, pushing each other down into turn number 1. Velasquez actually gets on the apron a little bit, getting down into the corner. A little bit of a nervy moment here coming down to the end of this thing. Maybe just an omen of what's to come. I feel like this pack is going to get angry coming down on these guys. And yep, a couple guys jumping out to the outside groove immediately. All 3 front runners that are not Team Conti cars jump out to the outside groove. And a huge block from the 7. Getting out to the outside line. John Jenkins trying to control it and keep the 61 at bay.
What a bash right there. What a block and now he'll drop down to the middle line to help his teammate to make sure they stay in the hunt, and now he's going to go on the defense. Andrew Payne leads the charge, but everyone else jockeys around for position. 3 wide through the tri-oval as they make the run. Here comes Chobak, and Jenkins will drop back.
Well, and you know what? We were talking about how they needed to get up to the outside groove, but now every leader of every lane is a Team Conti car, and now they're shipping one out. John Jenkins going to the outside. I think everybody kind of saw that, and they're like, okay, well, we got to leave one of them out. And I feel like as soon as the 61 and 22 get clear, they're going to try to make another move to the outside here of the 5 of Williams to the outside of Trobach. They got to get that third groove running again.
They're going to try to see what they can do as Trobach now gets a good run there. They'll go side by side for the race lead. Payne on the inside. Then you have the 5 of John Williams there in the 4th spot, and Charles Velasquez right there in 3rd as they go side by side for the race lead here. Coming across the line, Chobach will lead the lay here this time around.
Yeah, 72 with the race lead, 93 at Payne, just holding up that inside groove. We've just kind of changed a couple of the leaders up front. We've lost one Team Conti car and gained a different one up at the front of the field. It looks like that outside groove once again led by Allard into 61. They're trying to get ahead of steam coming off of turn number 2. Does Trobach throw the same huge block that his teammate of John Jenkins threw? He's leaving the outside to the 61 until the last moment. Jumps up late, gets turned across the field, takes out his teammate of Andrew Payne. Both going through the inside grass, both out of the race as the caution flag does not come out. We're still under green.
Still under green, and it's Michael Alliard who leads the charge in the Nitro Machine. And now here comes the other 2 Team Contis. 3 wide for the race lead as they come down through this tri-oval here. It is going to be Williams in the middle, Velasquez on the inside, and Alliard on the top side as they come across the line. It is going to be 5 laps to go as they work their way over into turn 1.
2 Team Conti cars got taken out in that incident on the back straightaway, but we've still got 3 at the front of the field right now. Oh, someone in the back, the 9 of the, or some Ryco driver towards the back, couldn't quite tell who it was, gets into the outside wall, kind of stalls out that outside lane a little bit. Allard, his run on the outside is just kind of stalled a little bit with only Kalonix behind him, giving him a shove. Not quite enough, but they are still getting a little bit of a pull down the back straightaway. I couldn't believe that they got that big of a run. Side drafting Williams now for that outside line.
Side drafting very hard to try to break up the 2 drivers in that middle lane there of the number 13 or the number 5 of Williams, and also throw in the 7 of Jenkins as they go side by side through the tri-oval once again. Big time push coming from Kalonix to give to Alliard. He will now push his way up to the front of the field, lead by half a car length on the outside lane.
The outside groove's got it, but how long can they hold on with just Kalonix on the outside pushing? You got to think that he's running those temperatures up high, given that big of a shove to the 61. How long can he keep that up before they've just got to pull back and say it's too much? I mean, I know we've only got 4 laps to go, but you can't push that hard for 4 laps. Oh, no, the 9! The 9 on the inside, just as we were talking about it, ends up blowing up, falling back through the pack, going down into turn number 3.
He's going to gather it back up and continue on his way, but there goes the run for Joshua Dickens. How about this? 3 by 3, 4 rows deep as they come out of 4.
Coming to 3 laps to go. Everybody's gunning for it. Kalonix still shoving Allard on the outside groove. He just saw Dickens blow a motor on the back straightaway, but still shoving on the outside. But he's finally got some help. He's got 2 Ryco Performance Mustangs on the outside right behind him. Hathaway, Willman, both trying to give him a shove, but it looks like it's going to be Team Conti on the inside. Oh, Valadez gets a little loose under Williams, makes a little bit of contact, but they're still straight coming out of 2.
They're going to keep it straight and narrow for the moment as they go down, pushing the Daytona Super Stretch. No one giving an inch here. It is go time. It is the chance to win here at Daytona to help boost your momentum to maybe win the big one here on Wednesday or Friday for the Daytona 500 here in the eNASCAR world. As they come out of turn number 4, Velasquez now rakes the charge and holds the inside lane. He will lead for the moment as they come. Popsicle sticks in the air, 2 laps to go.
The wreck's going to come from the outside. Allard is side drafting the absolute heck out of Williams every time coming out of the corners, going through the tri-oval. They make contact just about every lap. Going into 1, they just about come together again. Williams is leaving a lot of lane to the inside room to his teammate Velasquez, but he's not leaving a lot to Allard. And he just about clears Allard coming out of turn 2. Couldn't quite do it. Now they've got to run down the back.
Here comes Alliard with a big run of steam down the outside lane. It is now down to a 2-horse race for 2 different lanes. It is now Williams on the inside, Alliard on the outside. Now they're going to jockey around for position. Contact is made further back between Jenkins and Kalonix for the second row. Jenkins going to go to the middle. 3 wide as they come out of 4 and as they come to take the white flag here at Daytona. Down through the tri-oval for the final time. They will make their way through. Jenkins leads the lap.
John Jenkins from absolutely nowhere. He got shucked back to the back of the pack after the last scrum. Now finds himself up in the race lead, taking the white flag, but it's still 3 wide through 1 and 2. His teammate Williams on the inside gets the shove for now, but that middle lane's been good coming off of turn number 2, and the outside line has been just as good. They're both got a huge head of steam coming down to the outside of the 5.
Who will survive down the Daytona Superstretch? Here comes John Jenkins with help from Peyton Howell as they head down through the middle of turn 3 and 4 for the final time. Jenkins goes ahead. He pulls ahead for the time being. Here comes now John Williams to the inside. Trouble a little further back as drivers try to jockey around for position and trouble. But meanwhile, it is going to be the 13 or the 5 machine of John Williams who comes across the line to win at Daytona.
Something happened through 3 and 4 that just completely destroyed the outside groove. I believe Kalonix got hip checked into the outside fence and allowed it to be a Team Conti race in the middle and bottom lanes. And John Williams comes ahead and finishes ahead of John Jenkins at the stripe by 49 thousandths of a second. Tight race between those two teammates.
Great race there here as it's a John 1 and 2, a Team Conti 1, 2, 3 for this event here. Absolutely amazing run to the finish.
I feel like that's the finish this great night of racing deserved. We had 2 great finishes here at the checkered of A Open and B Open. 2 deserving winners. Team Conti just really dominated that thing and showed their stuff here on Monday night. And you got to think we're going to have a couple more battles between these 2 teams coming forward through the rest of the week, like you mentioned earlier. Wednesday night and Friday night, Daytona 500s. You got to think we're going to see a lot of these guys up front in a lot of splits.
Absolutely here, and it's going to be exciting to see how this will all play out because we got another drafting track, not Super Speedway, coming up immediately after this. And it is, of course, going to be in Atlanta, and it's going to be exciting here as we see John Williams burn it down here at Daytona to celebrate. That is definitely his Ryco performance winning moment as he will burn it down here at Daytona. I have to say, this is going to be a big momentum run for him for this year. Keep an eye on him as he makes a run in the Road to Pro qualifying series, as well as seeing him compete throughout the entire eNASCAR schedule. As we'll take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, we'll give you the full field rundown and hopefully have the chance to talk to some of your finishers in today's event. Welcome back here to GridVision's coverage of the Ryco Performance Monday Night Top Split event. The B Open race just finished up, and it's time to give you your full field rundown. It's John Williams who takes home the win, followed by John Jenkins in second, Charles Velasquez Jr. in third, Peyton Howell fourth, Julian Valdez fifth, Andrew Navarro in sixth, Brian Whitney in seventh with Quentin Warman in eighth. Ninth is Michael B. Alliard with Brandon Huck, rounding out your top 10.
11th was Ricky Udding with John Hathaway Jr. in 12th, Dylan Murcott in 13th, Isaiah Aves in 14th with Clinton Stone rounding out your top 15. Junsu Lim comes home 16th with Alex Kalonix getting wrecked out on that last lap, finishing 17th. Michael Trobach 18th, Brandon Schmidt 19th, and Chris Frost rounds out your top 20.
21st is going to be Andrew Payne, followed by John Vanderwall in 22nd, Joshua Dickens 23rd, Hunter Johnson in 24th, Dylan Swallenberg 25th, Garrett Smithley, Matty D. Clark also rounding out your field. As we take a look over the field here, Austin, I want to come to you right quick as we get excited and looking forward to the rest of the week here. Tell us some of the thoughts you had for our first coverage of the Monday night top split event here presented by Ryco Performance?
Well, I absolutely loved every second of it. The racing here at Daytona has been nothing but phenomenal here on the iRacing service. I just cannot wait to get the rest of the week kicked off tomorrow night with the Champion Power Equipment Truck Series. I just cannot wait to call that thing with my buddy Brian Britt. And then everything else we've got going on through the rest of the week here on iRacing, on GridVision, and with the Real Life 500 this week. I mean, there's just so much to be excited for.
Absolutely, and we're looking forward to all the amazing coverage here. Trying to see if any one of our drivers who were competed in this race will join us up here in the booth and see who will come up and be able to talk about their win here. If not, we will. So we'll go ahead and give a chance. Hopefully, for those of you tuning in this week and next week, make sure if you are racing in any of our events, whether it be the top split for Monday night or our top split on Friday night, make sure to go and join us on Discord and be able to come in here to give your thoughts and points during your race that you competed in. But for that, for all of our amazing people here at GridVision, for Nick Stein, who joined us for the A Open race, for my co-commentator, Austin Edstrom, and of course our amazing producer, Austin Derbyshire, I am Taylor Burris. We also like to say a big thank you as well to our amazing camera angles that we are able to see here tonight. That, of course, made very well by Andrew Cardinell and his company. We have to say thanks to the amazing camera angles. But for that, we will see you tomorrow night for the, of course, the Champions Power Equipment Series at Daytona. And for that, we say goodnight.